It's Wednesday, and it's time to get a little wacky. It's Wacky Wednesday with Bumper Gomez. You never know what you're going to get from this former U.S. Marine that has a passion for Tejano culture and gets you up close and personal with your favorite Tejano stars and so much more. Unfiltered Wacky Wednesday with Bumper Gomez starts now.
What's up, everybody? Hope everybody's having a fantastic Wednesday.
Hump day.
Yeah, hump day, man. Of course, of course.
That's how we start.
That's it. That's how we already start. We're just starting off, man. We're just starting.
He had
off.
his fancy schmancy intro. I love it. Got
Yeah.
Romeo doing all the intro and everything.
Romeo,
Shut up.
You already knew the voice.
Oh yeah, I know everybody's voice. Yeah, he's one of the best. So.
Oh man!
Awesome.
Shout out to my boy Romeo. Which we are, Shelly. We are cross posting to Tejano Nation. So on Tejano Nation.
Awesome! Yay! We love our Tejano Nation family.
This will be on there.
They're super awesome to us, and of course, I love it because got some great writers on there, and information they share about Tejano music is amazing. So thank you guys. We love y'all.
Always good stuff. No, so again, this is Bumper's Wacky Wednesday. If this is the first time you've ever tuned in and you're looking at this wall saying, what in the hell this guy's got going on back here?
I like this one right here. Where's? Oh wait, I'm right over here.
Which one?
Somewhere. Which way is it?
The marriage
This
one?
one here.
That one?
That's a
The
pretty
ring
picture.
lights on it. It always goes back. But yeah, it's a nice one.
It's the nice where he's in his Marine uniform and kissing his wife. It's so sweet.
So before we forget, Shelly, because he's if not, he's gonna keep going. Shout out.
Shout out to Juan across the street. Can you wash my car while you're out there? I'm just kidding, man. No, I'm just playing. I'm playing.
But no, so again, my name is Bumper Gomez, and this is Bumper's Wacky Wednesday. Welcome to the show. My guest tonight, well, I thought I was going to have one guest. I was ready for Shelly to come, and I misread the text. She's like, it's going to be... Actually, I don't think I did. I don't think I misread the text.
Maybe I didn't.
She's
put
like,
player.
it's going to be
guitar.
Me and my guitar.
Player.
I said, okay, well, cool. You play the
Yeah, this
guitar?
is Steve Alvarez, my guitar player.
Steve Alvarez,
Yeah.
welcome to Bumper's Wacky Wednesday. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Shelly, welcome.
Thank you very much. Thanks to all of your fans and your viewers that are watching, of course, today. It's our pleasure to be on the show. I was super excited. Hats off to you for doing such a great job with, all of your guests. I know during Fanfare, you got to interview quite a bit of artists. Unfortunately, we couldn't be there, but I was like, man, we got to get on. So thank you to Lexi, because I think I went through Lexi.
You did. You saw one of the things that she was like, hey, and she sent me the screenshots like, Bump, are you ready? I'm like, what? She sent me the screenshot.
She's so
I was
cute.
like, oh,
Thank
cool.
you,
Hell
Lexi,
yeah.
our TikTok queen.
That's right. Right.
I saw her because we did the project, the video shoot that'll be coming out. And I swear I didn't even know who her dad was until recently. And I was like, dude, your dad, like Miko's been like someone I've known forever. She's probably like 2 years old, maybe the last time I saw her dad. But, I shared with her that, he's someone that kind of has a special place in my heart because back in 99, when my father suffered a stroke, I was touring in Indiana at this time. So mom and I got stuck there with my father, and he was like one of the top 5 people to call me immediately to check on us and see if we needed anything. So I wanted her to know that, her dad has a special place in my heart. So that's crazy. I was like, dang. So thank you, Lexi, for hooking us up.
There you
on
go.
Wacky Wednesday today.
Before I get in trouble, because I'm already getting texts, move her mic down because we want to see her.
It's because I'm chaparritos.
There you go.
I'm chaparritos.
So,
and I have short legs. So like in this chair, I'm like, okay, let me lean back. So I normally sit up straight, kind of, but I'm just comfortable.
I actually had the camera down a little bit, but then I saw Shelly sit down. I was like, nah, we're gonna move it up. I don't want to see people seeing her feet.
Mic lights always to the lowest setting whenever I'm there. Actually, when I was a kid, when I started at 10 years old with Hatamales Orchestra, who was from San Antonio, the mic stand was like this, like this, all the way down. And that's why my dad built me a little stage to put on the stage, because so he felt like people couldn't see me.
They could see you.
Yeah, and he put lights on it and everything. I had Christmas lights, everything, man.
What they call that? Eagle box?
Right? I don't know. You know, now
they're called
look at who followed in after me. Jesse Turner, AJ Castillo, they jump on their see?
Yes.
Elida,
You set
my dad
the
started
trend.
he set the tone for it, y'all.
He started the trend
He
for
did,
sure.
but they don't have lights on them. I had Christmas lights on mine. But the funny thing was, I think it was a nightstand.
Oh man.
I think it was my parents' nightstand.
That he made?
Yeah, that he just decided, oh, mija, stand on here. Let's see if it's sturdy. And then that's when he put the lights on it and put
So there
carpet.
was no dancing. There was no dancing on that nightstand.
Well,
then.
well, I kind of did a little bit. But it had carpet, so I was cool. But yeah, my dad was always coming up with cool stuff like that.
Man, you know what's amazing for me right now, and in all honesty, with the fans is like, my mom hit me up today. She's like, Mijo, are you nervous? And I'm like, I told her, nah, I'm really not nervous. And I've been going 100 miles an hour all day today, and I think that's what it was. I think I just didn't have time to
Didn't have a chance.
Yeah, I didn't have a chance to think about it, and with not having a chance to think about it, I was like, I'm okay. But then the doorbell rang, and there she is. Little Miss Dynamite is here in my home, and getting to hang out with me and sharing with you guys a little bit about herself. So if this is your first time watching and you're seeing Shelly Lares, I mean, I'm sure you've gone through YouTube like I have. You can see a million different interviews. And, if you have some questions, we could see the comments. You know what I mean? I'll try to get to them. If you've ever seen another show, I talk a lot. So sometimes I really don't get to the comments just because there's stuff that I want to know. You know what I mean? And she's here. So
it's kind of hard when you do Facebook Live, because you do want to see,
you want to see the comments. Yeah,
because
exactly.
during COVID, like during hardcore COVID, and I was doing a lot of like Facebook Live performances, I wanted to be able to like read, but
you can't. It's
first of all, I have to have my readers on if I want to see, and I can't see, because I have my phone like far away, like you do.
Yeah.
So it's like, my girlfriend was in there. She would kind of tell me so and so was watching, whatever state or city was watching, and she would kind of tell me, and I would be able to acknowledge them. But yeah, so we're gonna try to say hi to some of you guys. Mary Reyes says this is her first time. Mary and Mario, their first time watching. So hey,
they're maybe Mary's time, not Mario's. They're being silly. They're being real silly because they're on every week.
Oh, they're a hardcore fan then.
There you go.
Awesome.
There you go.
Well, we appreciate you opening up your home, and of course, congratulations on the success of the show. And I know it's going to continue to do well for you. But I think I could venture to say I'm probably one of the easiest artists to interview. I always feel like
we'll see.
Pretty
just
simple.
started. We'll see. She told me that, guys. She told me, she's like, hey, they don't call me Little Miss Dynamite for nothing. So,
I can answer any question.
You know what I mean? That's already she's already let me know that. So Shelly, again, I really love doing this show, and I do this show almost as a fan. As a fan.
Well,
not almost as.
Yeah.
I do it as a fan, and I like to do it because sometimes like we hear interviews or we see, and if it's on TV, there's only so much they can go, right?
Yeah.
If you go on the radio station, it's like, hey, Shelly, where are you playing tonight? Where are you playing tomorrow?
Yeah, kind of.
What's the new
they
single?
Have the same,
the same
points.
thing. Boom,
yeah,
boom, boom,
yeah.
boom. And every now and then, I've caught a few of yours. I saw the one you did with Rebecca. That one was pretty cool. You can tell you guys known each other for a long time.
Oh yeah.
And it was very down
she's
to earth.
Amazing.
But I just want the fans to just get to know who Shelly Lares is as Shelly Lares, not the artist. Of course, we're going to talk about music. There's a guitar. Of course, she's going to jam.
Yeah.
But, who's Shelly Lares, dude? We've heard this name for over almost 40 years straight now. Your name is at the top of, the top 5. When you think of Tejano, Shelly Lares is up there, and she's still touring. You crushed my heart this year.
I know. I'm sorry.
I think you broke a lot of people's hearts this year.
I think people when they first hear I'm retiring, they're like, oh, but then when they hear my reason why, they're like, oh wow, there's a little fascination, I think, and respect, especially for people in the medical field, especially nurses. But thank you for that. I mean, from day one, which is 1982 is when I first started doing Tejano music. Most people think it was the 90s, but I ventured out to make a legacy for myself, the LMD legacy. And LMD, y'all, is for Little Miss Dynamite, okay? For those of y'all that still ask me. So I set out to make a name for myself. I didn't want to fill anybody's shoes. I didn't want to emulate anyone else in any way, shape, or form. I knew that, what I was bringing to the table of Tejano music was different. And I think that's what's so unique about our industry is that all of the women are different. All of the women have their own sound, and that's what I love. But as far as me, like as a persona, pretty much what you see is what you get. The only thing that changes as far as me is my style of dressing. I think the fans that do follow me, they know this is me like off stage, with my chucks sometimes, with my kicks, I always have my caps. I've always loved hats. I'm a hat person.
And she's a flat bill person too.
I love flat bills.
So
I love it. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. And this is me off stage. So most people already kind of know that about me. On stage when I perform, if I could dress like this all the time, I would, but I don't always like wearing heels and, getting all dressed up and stuff like that. But, comes with the territory. I do. But, for the most part, I'm the same person on stage as I am off stage, honestly. I like to joke around a lot. When I'm on stage, I have a good time with the fans. I'm always joking. I like to think that I'm pretty humble and a very personable, approachable artist.
You are. I got a selfie with you on the stage.
Yeah?
That's the one that I posted.
Awesome.
I posted a selfie of me and you. You were playing at Thirsty Horse.
Yeah.
And I got to the stage and you were singing. You're like, yeah, come on.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Take a picture. So.
And I love that about our genre, too. That's a whole other thing.
That's not Shelly Lares. Again, this was me.
I'm over here. Yeah, I'm on this side. I'm on this side.
I'm going to fix.
No, we get it. He's still an element of me. That's all right. He's my brother. So,
Shelly, so, like you said, I want to go backwards. Okay. A lot of people just, let's, when you started music, let's talk a little bit backwards.
Okay.
You talked about leaving the industry for a long time. A lot of people have said they're going to retire.
I know.
And I'll say one, not in our genre, but George Strait.
Right.
George Strait, the Cowboy Rides Away tour. He
rides away again one more time.
This is it. Like you got to go to the Alamo Dome. You got to pay these $300 for these tickets.
Oh man, I know.
That's it. And
I know.
We got to go. We're never going to see him again. And then 6 months, 8 months go by, and it's like he's doing Vegas.
Yeah.
Let's go see. I thought he was.
Because people say never. But okay, so for me, for those of y'all that don't know, my LMD 82 album is out right now. When it came out, I announced it as my final Tejano CD, and I did that. I didn't really have to tell people that I was retiring. Like I didn't have to say why and that I was doing it and this is the last album. But I felt like Tejano music is my family, and it's a family member to me. It's something I've given almost 40 years of my life to. So I take it very personal. And so I announced it, but I wanted people to know that even as a kid, I always knew, granted, music was like my one of my biggest gifts God gave me, and he blessed me with the opportunity to do it full time, like as a livelihood. I've never done it part time. It's always been full time for me. So, but I always knew as a kid that there were other things outside of music that I was passionate about. And I think in a nutshell, that is helping people. I love helping people. I help a lot of people in this industry every day. So I knew that I wanted to do stuff. So I studied fitness and nutrition. I studied physical therapy aid on the road, because I went on the road full time right out of high school. And, I just felt like something was just knocking at my heart. Like I just felt like God was trying to say, there's something more for you. Something more for you outside of music. Because granted, Tejano music and my music has helped reach so many lives. People have told me, man, your music got me through a depression. Your music, we played when my abuelita died or whatever the case may be. We've heard it all,
Yeah.
And music is very powerful. But as a human being, from one human being to another, I felt like there was just more for me. There was a certain calling for me. So I started thinking about nursing. Most people may or may not know that even during the week, 5 years ago, 2 days a week, I was a caretaker. I did that because I wanted to make sure that I was going to be comfortable caring for someone outside of my family, because I was my father's caretaker till he passed. And, you know, I've done it for family, but I knew I was going to like it. I knew it, but I did it anyway. And I fell in love with it. And, you know, so I remember having a conversation with my father the year he died in 2016 and saying, hey, Dad, you know, I think I want to go to school. I think I want to be a nurse. He's like, Mija, if that's what you want to do and that's what your heart is telling you to do, then that's what you have to do. Now, here we go with retirement. I knew that if I was going to go nursing full time to school, there is no way that I could be on the road and do that at the same time, because my career, I work at every single day. I'm always working. I never stop working. I never stop, whether it's collaborating, whether it's working on my merchandise, whether it's, you know, getting the contracts together, because all things Shelly Lares, I have 100% control of. Okay.
And your record label.
Yeah. And my own label. So, you know, I knew I couldn't do that to myself. And I'm the type of person, I don't half-ass anything. And so since music is gonna, you know, what I love, I had to do something that I was completely passionate about. It's so cute. His dog walked in. He's like, I'm gonna bust it. Actually, he busted in.
He did bust in.
He busted in. So, I was gonna do, if I didn't know that 21 was gonna be so busy for me, I probably would have retired this year. But then I thought about it. I was like, you know, 40 years is next year, so it kind of makes more sense. On my 40, it's like full circle.
Just write it
full
out.
Circle. But no, guys, to be honest with you, I love being on stage, but I love producing and arranging and working in the studio more than I do than being on stage any day.
Shelly, for real.
Yeah.
Like you're Shelly Lares, dude. Really, like
Yeah.
you love that more
Absolutely.
than being on stage performing.
Because I think I don't know if I'm a different person in the studio than I am off.
Control freak?
Yeah, I'm a control freak. That's for sure. Because I look at it like this. Is his name on the cover? No. My name's on the cover. So it has to represent me in all aspects. And I never felt comfortable with someone else producing my music because I feel like fans are not getting the true authentic me. Not every artist can be a producer. Not every artist has the capability of arranging music.
Some people can sing.
But I've done it from day one, and maybe fans don't know that. But, you know, JJ and I wrote most of my hits and, you know, the arrangements. But from day one, even through Solo Tu, my very first album, you know, we were able to, Manny Guerra allowed us to arrange and write half of that album. I mean, here I was, a 17-year-old girl, asking him, hey, Manny, I want to produce this. I want to produce these songs. I want to write these songs. And he was like, I'll let you do half and we'll see.
Meet me in the middle.
Yeah.
Meet me in the middle.
So, but I mean, there's so much. But guys, everyone watching, I know y'all you probably respect my decision, but this is just another chapter of my life. We don't just have one gift.
True.
We have many.
No, you're
but
right.
Some of us don't even take the time to really realize what they are. And I know what mine are. And so I have to utilize that. And hospice has been something I've wanted to do for a long time. And so that's my goal, is to, you know, go all the way through school, get my LVN, RN, BSN, God willing, and then, you know, to be in hospice and do that. That's,
but
that's
you
what I want.
I see it like this, Shelly, you know, your work ethic, and if you take what you are, I know you are, your same work ethic that you take in everything that you do. I mean, going through those things, I think, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Me personally as a fan, I think the only thing that I could see you maybe having trouble with is life slowing down a little bit.
Oh yeah. I mean, but I'm ready for it. I mean, most people are like, why? And I'm like, because 40 years is why. I haven't been on the road.
I mean, think about it like this. You know, if you are a meat cutter, or you do something for so many years, every day you get up, you go to work. Every day you get up, you go to work. We go to work for what? For retirement. Like, at the end of the day, There's got to be a day where we say, hey, yeah, chale,
it should be
no more.
Yeah, and it should always be what you're passionate about. Always. I don't think it should just be for financial. I mean, it's important, you know, you want to have a comfortable life. You want to have a comfortable retirement. I get it. But to me, life and its journey should be to the fullest as far as doing what you are absolutely passionate about. If you're absolutely passionate about, you know, painting the sidewalks or power washing people because you like to see them happy and their house clean, then you do that. But it doesn't matter what you do. You can work at a fast food restaurant to, you know, being a nurse, a doctor, lawyer, whatever.
Whatever makes you happy.
As long as you are passionate and you do it with pride and you take pride in what you do. I mean, that was my, you know, experience growing up with my father and my mom. My father was a very hard worker. My dad didn't, you know, and I know how to set everything up. I can set up a sound system. I know how to do lights. I know how to, you know, I mean, I watched and I learned and I asked questions as a kid all the way to now. Like, I will study something if I don't know it. I'm gonna learn it. But
who do you think you get your work ethic from?
Hands down, my father. Hands down. My mom would probably agree with me. Hands down, my dad. He was such a jack of all trades. I mean, I know how to make rubber stamps and I know how to engrave too, you know, so it's like, that was my father's trade, you know?
You know, with that being, because again, I don't have a script and I don't want to forget, but there was something that I read and it was like some, you know, when I think about what I want to talk to the artist about, that what you just said, rubber stamps and you know, you can make those and like that.
Now everything's computerized, so it's boring.
Yeah. But the fact that at one point in time, because we're jumping all over the place because it's Wacky Wednesday.
I know.
Your parents did this for a living and you were dibble-dabbling in the music, and then, and you correct me when I'm wrong, you're dibble-dabbling in the music and then you finally said, you know what, I want to do this.
Yeah.
And your dad said, well, if you're gonna do this, like, we got to go.
Yeah, that's very true.
And they sold their business.
They sold the business. Close shop.
To go behind you.
To go into something we were absolutely clueless about.
Like nothing. Like you.
But that's one thing. It's in my DNA. It's in my Lares DNA. It's in my Delgado DNA. We're not afraid to try things. You know, I don't let anything or anyone intimidate me in any way, shape, or form, because I don't feel that I'm superior to other people. But I've never allowed that mentality in the industry, especially, and being a woman. You know, I will cut that real quick because I don't treat people that way, you know, so I don't expect, you know, here we go. I went to Catholic school my whole life.
With that being said,
shout out to my St. Paul's Royals, honey, class of 86.
Go. Yeah. Shout out to St. Paul, my St. Paul family.
And that's another thing. My schooling had a lot to do with that. I come from Catholic school where we're discipline, structure. That discipline, even in our adulthood, is extremely important. You know, you're a military man. Yeah. You understand structure, discipline.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
It builds a basis.
It builds it. You have to have it. It's like building a home. If you don't have that strong foundation, you're not gonna. Your house is gonna crumble eventually. And my foundation has been my faith, and going to Catholic school. You know, I had a very early on relationship with God and my own way, and you know, and then having this discipline structure, and then I have it at home. You know, my parents were very strict, but in a very loving way. But they didn't tolerate it. You know, they were like, this is how it is. That's how it's got to be. You know, and I implemented that into my business. And, you know, this is how we run the business. And this is how the guys, you know, I'm very thankful and lucky that I have respectable men that, you know, are not afraid to take direction from me at times.
Yeah, no, that's, you know, and not just music, you know, but in anything. I think a lot of men, you know, me being a military guy, like, and you know, I was telling you that, you know, we have kids in the military, my dog's in the military. Like, I think that's what I love about you. I think a lot of people love that about you, is that you stand up, one, as I told you off the air, for what you believe in. Yeah. And you do not let anybody falter you. No. Either way, you stand. She might be, you know, 5'3".
That's it, just 5.
Just 5 foot. She might be 5 foot tall.
I used to be 5'1", but I'm shrinking as I'm getting older. Damn it.
But no, what I was saying is, like, I really admire that about you. And I know not just me, I know the fans, they admire that you stand for whatever you stand for, whatever you're talking about it. Yeah. You're not like, you're not bullshitting.
Right.
You know, a lot of people, sometimes you hear artists and they're talking like,
No.
they're full of shit. Like
Yeah.
that's
no.
not.
It's pretty much what you see is what you get, and you know, I say what I mean and I mean what I say. That's pretty much.
Say it one more time.
Yeah, I say what I mean and I mean what I say. And so that's kind of just how I am. I mean, I don't try to be anybody else that I'm not. But I am a very positive person, and it took me a long time to get to this point. And it did because, you know, I allowed myself to have negativity in my life, you know, whether it was toxic relationships, you know, friendships, whatever the case was. And, you know, that can really drag you down and suffocate you. So I really worked at taking care of myself spiritually, mentally, physically. You know, that's why I live a very healthy lifestyle. I run, and, you know, I read a lot of, you know, scripture. I read a lot of positive quotes, and I do my motivational Mondays every Monday.
Stop right there. Motivational Monday. I had out of the blue. I'm not even exaggerating. I'm sorry because I don't remember the lady's name, but somebody messaged me and like, Bumper, if you ask her anything, please ask her this. After she retires, will she still do Motivational Monday?
They've asked me that, and I probably will. You know, it's one of those things like I said, here we go again, where I have total control of everything that I do. I do my social media. Okay. I've had so many, even on here on my Shelly Lares fans page that I shared, you know, they're like, is this really you? I'm like, yes, because nobody's going to speak for me, you know, but me. So it's, you know, it's time consuming
To do it?
to be on all of social media. It's like, it's time consuming. That's why, like, even on TikTok, I'm not into doing all those dances. I ain't got time for that. I mean, I have so many things to do, but I try to keep up with my social media. But, the idea was, you know, when I retired, was after a while, I was going to probably take down my social media because, I knew I wasn't going to be having a lot of time to, you know, be talking to fans or whatever the case may be. But if anything, maybe I'll just keep it for that to do my motivational Mondays, because people have been so inspired by it.
I think you're right. I think that is something that would be really hard for you to do and stay focused on what you want to do
on school. Yeah.
Because social media, man, you go on something and you just like, hey, just let me do something real quick.
Yeah. It's next a little rabbit hole, you know,
it's 30 minutes.
Yeah.
TikTok,
forget
dude,
it. Forget
like,
it. Yeah. You get addicted.
Right. I'm waiting in the car, like, for either my wife to come out or going to church, and I'm just like going through, and it's like,
right.
Next thing you know, like, dude, where are you? I've been on this thing for like 20 minutes already.
I get it. But, you know, I don't know. I might, more than likely, I will keep it. The fans, I want them to know that's for me too, because I'm not always, you know, motivated every day. You know, I'm like, sometimes I'm like, you know, I get discouraged, or I get, you know, pissed off at the industry, you know, or, you know, I'm like, I get frustrated and stuff like that. Or I see a lot of negativity on social media about the industry from artist to artist. And that just like really pisses me off. It really bothers me because, you know, people take time out of their day to say some mean shit to people. And I'm like, why?
Exactly.
I mean, for what reason are you wasting that minute of your day,
that kind of energy,
to give a 2 cents nobody's asking for one, and in a negative way? But then I have to stop and think that person must be going through something, because
they have to be,
because it takes a bigger person to clap for that person. It takes a bigger person to do that. It's easy to be negative. That's easy. But, you know, most people want the easy way out, or they just feel better about themselves by bringing someone else down. That's why I've been such an advocate for uplifting everyone in our industry, especially new artists. And, you know, I've been the voice for women for a while now, you know, unifying the women in the industry, because I want to be able to say peace out and know that it's in good hands and everybody's going to be there to support each other.
You left it better than the way you found it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the way you should look at it.
I mean, and shoot, man, there was only 7 of us when I started in '82. There was only 7 women. That's it.
Shelly.
Let me see. It was Laura Canales, Janie C. Ramirez, Patsy Torres, Elsa Garcia, Linda Escobar, Selena, myself, and Lisa Lopez was around, but she got out, pretty quick.
Yeah. 7. And you just did a video with 25 women.
Exactly. And that's not even all of them.
But I want people to think about that though, because that's good and bad. How many years are we talking about? And we're like the other day I had Di Marie on here, and I said, you know what's sad is that I couldn't give you 15. I could give you 15 male group names right now.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. Give you 15 females.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
Yeah, and Stephanie and Montiel and Elida, we've managed to kind of keep that momentum going for the women,
Yeah,
but I
definitely.
mean, eventually, it's so funny because they're the first two that I called when I decided to retire before I announced it. First I called Patsy Torres because that's my mentor. She was my mentor. She's been my inspiration. And to this day,
She got me suspended from school for 5 days.
uh-oh,
I swear to you.
I'm
Patsy-
going to ask her about that.
No, she doesn't know.
Oh, dang.
She doesn't know. Patsy Torres used to go to the schools, right?
Yes, she
used
did
to
her
go to
school
schools.
tour.
Okay, well,
Oh, dang.
a quick wacky Wednesday story. I'm sitting in class, and the class, the home room that we're in, the teacher's like, look, our class has the front row. The auditorium is going to be full. The whole high school's going.
Yeah.
Patsy's going to perform. She's going to talk about, I think it was the DARE program.
Yeah, the DARE.
Program, whatever.
Stay in school
Yeah,
or say
and
no
so-
to drugs, something like that.
So I
Yeah.
remember her looking at me. She's like, and everybody will behave.
Ooh, ding.
Right? Bumper. Everybody will, like, she's looking right at me, right? I said, okay, cool. So we go to the auditorium. And so she's playing music that everybody can relate to, like back then, some R&B music, right? And then she's like, but, that's not, I remember her saying, like, that's not really, people know me for playing Tejano music.
Right.
And she played a cumbia. And she came down. Was, dude, you can't hear a cumbia. and sit
Right?
down.
Of course not.
Dude, I get up.
You were dancing.
And I start dancing with her, and the school's like, yeah, rah, cheering me on, right? So
And you got in trouble for that?
so I sat back down.
Dang.
I sat back down when we got back. She goes, I told you to behave. And so it got into a verbal argument, and
Lord.
I said some stuff that I wasn't supposed to say. So I ended up getting suspended. So yes, Patsy Torres, you owe me 3 days.
Yeah, they don't know. Tejano music moves you, man. It's supposed to make you dance. Hello.
But
Is
you,
this
wait,
the Footloose town
Oh,
where this happened? 'Cause
yeah, Beeville, Texas.
Oh, dang.
Beeville, Texas.
That kind of reminds me of when I did a thing with Las Super Tejanas, and it was women in different genres. It was like a trio of women, and it was Tejano Huasa, who's a lot of folk music, and Rosie Flores is rockabilly, and Eva Ibarra. We had her on the conjunto. So it was all of us performing in Austin. I want to say, is it the Paramount Theater? I think it's called.
That's a whole. That's
Okay,
a whole
well,
realm. Of
okay.
different music
Well,
right
no one had ever danced in the aisles. They didn't allow that. So here I come, and I did my show, my part, my segment, and I just got everybody standing up. By then, the usher, everybody was just like, "Oh well."
It is
By then,
what it
everybody
is.
was standing in the. But that's Tejano, that's what it is. So yes, Patsy is an amazing human being. I wanted to, she would sit down with me and mom and dad all the time, talk about the industry, what to do, what not to do. But they were the first 3 women, friends that I told in the industry first. And, I got them thinking about it. And then, the girls are like, oh, well, what am I going to do when I retire? So I guess I got them to thinking. I'm like, I'm not telling y'all to retire. I know what I want to do. And they were like, wow, we never really thought about what are we going to do? I was like, maybe you need to think about what your next chapter is. You should know.
When do you, man, and
it'll be the end of next year, the end of 2022. Because right now we're doing the LMD Legacy Tour, and we've been super busy, thankfully. But next year I'm going to be a lot more selective in my shows. And of course, it'll be the final year, the 40th final year.
40 years.
So people are trying to still get collabs in with me right now. They're like hitting me up. Can we do it before you retire? Can we do this before you retire? I'm like, yeah, okay.
So I'm going to ask you now. You can come back and watch it
Okay.
a year and a half from now.
Okay.
Once you retire, You know, I kind of asked you like, hey, are you going to be done? Yeah, you could say retire, like you're not going to see me on the stage anymore, but are we still going to hear Shelly Lares maybe collabing with somebody in a, like doing some studio work? Or
if it's not by the end of next year, it'll probably be a few years after that. If I do
4 years,
if I collaborate, because I mean,
so you hear that?
like I said,
all the
yeah.
artists out there, if you've
They're
always
already
wanted,
asking me if I'm going to sign artists already, you know, and that was the whole goal, you know, for starting Shell Shock Records 3. First, it was because I was so tired of being with labels already. I was tired of making money for other people, basically.
But Shelly, but I think a lot of, with you saying that, a lot has changed in the last 10 years when it comes to music.
Yeah, it's good and bad.
Because of these things.
Yeah, it's good and bad.
You know, good and bad, but you know, there's no more. You don't really need a middleman anymore. Like,
No,
you can do everything. From
No,
the
but I
ground
mean,
up.
but you do need to financially be, you know, you have to have money to do it. It's not, if you want it to be done right.
like,
I mean, you can go to Joe Schmo and record at his house and,
sit down, Shelly. We're gonna record. Let me hit record. Right?
Yeah, let me record you. I could do it because, yeah, there are talented, you know, producers and engineers that can do it at home. But then just because you buy the software and you have all the stuff doesn't mean you know what you're doing.
You don't have the,
Yeah,
don't have the ear
if
for
you
it.
don't have the ear for it. That's why I'm so thankful that I'm in the era that I was, because I'm in the era of analog. I'm in the era of you got to do it right the first, you know, or you got to do it, keep doing it till you get it right. It's not like auto tuning or you know, cut and paste anymore. I'm from the old school. Like I was a trained racehorse thanks to Manny.
Again.
You know, it's like I was a trained racehorse. Manny Guerra had me recording vocals at 10 o'clock in the morning. I did the whole album in like 2 hours, you know, and it's like, that's just how I was trained, you know? So I see now and I listen to some of the production and I'm like, oh my God, what are they doing? It's like, and I, you know, will try to educate the artist and let them know, look, this. I just got asked last night on my Instagram from this girl, can you listen to my single? And it was already on YouTube. And I'm like, okay. She sang really well. I liked the arrangement. The recording was good, but her intonation on many parts was bad. And I told her that. I'm like, you needed someone there to produce you, to guide you, to tell you you're not in tune on this part. You got to do this part again.
And then it's Shelly Lares telling you.
And then she's like, but I, you know, she appreciated my honesty. And I told her, I said, I don't joke when it comes to music. I don't claim to know it all, but I know when you're singing off key. I could tell you that.
I mean, 40
you
years,
know?
40 years in the music industry. And you brought up something that I want to touch on, because I think at where you're at, and you're already telling the people like, hey, next year, you know, I'm hanging up the microphone for a little while, is the industry, the state of the industry. And if you watch any of my shows before, there's two things that I really, really focus on, especially when I have artists. One is the state, the state of the industry in their eyes, and what we need to do to make it better.
Right.
We can always say, I want it the way it was, but I'm over that.
I want to go somewhere else.
Exactly. Like I think times have changed, and we need to, the Tejano industry hasn't evolved fast enough. Fans speaking here. It hasn't evolved fast enough, like other genres. You know, our people love hearing the old. I want to hear the old song.
Classics will always be classics. I mean, they will always be.
If we always ask for that,
yes.
and we're not. What I mean is, like, as fans, we're not. A lot of us aren't open to, not us, because I am. Not open to hearing new music. You know what I mean?
Not only from the new generation, but new music. Period. Yeah.
You know, if you come up with something that's not Shelly Lares, like, you just like, you know,
my biggest pet peeve is when people say, I didn't know you were still recording music. Like, I never stopped recording music. You know, I never stopped recording music. And that's really when I decided to start Shell Shock Records 3. That was one of the main things when people were telling me that. Why is that? Because I knew my music wasn't being distributed properly. I knew it was just being shelved, and, you know, it was just being wasted, basically. I had an artist tell me the other day, she's like, I didn't know you redid Yo No Se Mañana. I didn't know you redid that song. I was like, She goes, when did you do that? I was like, 2012. She's like, oh my God. And she just heard it for the first time. So I was like, stuff like that.
Program directors.
That's my biggest pet peeve is that when people ask me that is because I never stopped. But this is why, it's super important. Like I said, classics will always be classics. You're never going to take that away. Okay. Nobody's trying to take that away from our genre, but there are new people with new ideas, new visions, new sounds. And I think it's up to us as far as veterans to be open-minded and to guide them in the right direction with what they're trying to do, because we can learn a lot from them as well. Okay. And I think the moment that you shut yourself off and say, you know what, I've stopped learning. I know it all. I've done it for 40 years in the industry. There's no telling me otherwise. That's it for you. Hang it up. For sure.
You heard that right here.
I mean,
but, hey,
yeah, because it's not helping anyone.
I think that's in anything, and not just music, in anything.
And Tejano is not the only genre that's suffering, to be honest. It's really not. It's really not the only genre. But technology now and digital downloading, it gets sticky and tricky, especially the artists that come into this industry and don't know when it comes to songwriting, publishing, licensing, distribution, manufacturing, all of these things that are important elements into what you do. That's where I try to tell artists, look, this, because it's not only about producing a good sounding song. There's a lot more to that goes into what we do. A lot. And most artists are clueless, and it's not their fault. It's just that they need the proper guidance and they need to ask questions and they need to research and go to artists that do know.
So I consider yourself, I'm going to ask you anyway, one thing that I always say is that I think in our genre, our A-listers, and I hate to say that, but that's just an easy way for people to understand what I'm trying to say. A-list bands, Shelly Lares, right? Are they reaching down and are they grabbing those B's and C's, and even D bands and been like, hey, you know what I mean? Come on.
No, they're not.
They're not. But you just explained to me that what you just did. That's what I'm talking about. That's what people need. The A-list bands need to be doing what you just said that you did. But can you imagine
if more of us did that? I mean, it would really help a lot.
Instead of on social media bashing each other, you know what I mean?
Yeah, or saying it on social media. But I mean, I don't just talk the talk, I walk the walk. You have to actually put into action what you're saying. You can say it on Facebook all you want. Oh, we support you, we support you, we support you. But, what are you really doing to contribute to helping these artists? I would like to think collaborating is one of them. Because I mean, I don't know if just the female or if I would say in general, I don't think anybody in the industry has collaborated as much as I have. Because I have over 30 collaborations that I'm super proud of. But I've done that because it's important to show, first of all, the unity. And then it only helps because maybe my fans are not familiar with this new artist. And, we introduce them and they do well. Stevie D, hello. I mean, let's be honest. Our song, Me Muero Por Tu Amor, that's really what started getting him to being heard.
That's true.
Angelique and I did well. Angelique, we did Yo Te Extrañaré, and now it's like on TikTok, it's crazy. They use our version of that song a lot, and, now with Nada de Ti, Sone de la Paz, Monica Saldivar, and Demi Garcia, getting these three women to be on this song. And, it's our number one song right now. So not only am I introducing them to my fans, they're introducing me to their fans and their younger generation of fans.
Yes.
So see, it's a win-win situation, but you have to, let's just be honest. It's a matter of being secure with who you are as an artist, as a person. If you have insecurities, they're going to rear their ugly face and you're not going to be supportive. That's really what it is. If you're insecure, you're not going to want the person next to you to do well. If you're insecure. If you're secure with who you are, what you bring to the table, you're going to lend that hand. That's just how it is. I
Right
mean,
there, she just threw it down. Right there.
I mean,
No,
it's the
what you're
truth.
saying is what I've been trying to push across a lot of things. Like if you are who you say you are,
right.
why do you have to? You don't. There's no reason. People will show up if you're good. People will show up.
And radio, artists have said, "God, Shelly, I'm not getting airplay in this, part of the state." Guess what? I'm calling. Hey, can you give so and so a chance? Just play their song. Yeah, we'll do it. I mean, that's happened a lot. And then I'm telling them, not just because I'm asking, but because this artist is good and they deserve this opportunity.
And how many artists blow somebody off? They're like, "Oh yeah, I'll do it, bro." Like, nah,
I don't know.
Charlie,
I'm sure a lot.
I'm not gonna do it.
But I think that's
gonna.
one thing that my peers, they trust me. I feel like my brothers and sisters in the industry, they really trust me, and I'm gonna go to bat for them because I want this industry to prosper. I really do. I love it. You can't tell me that I haven't paid my dues and that I'm not part of Tejano music history.
Who would say?
I'm just saying that this is my reason for doing that is because I believe Tejano music is, and I say this in every interview because I mean it. Tejano music, nobody can touch us, man. I'm sorry. I don't care. Regional Mexican, country, reggaeton, rap. Y'all cannot touch Tejano music with a 10-foot pole because not everyone is as versatile as we are. Not everyone is as talented as we are. Our musicians can play any genre you throw at them. They're going to play it. Our artists can sing it.
I never thought about it like that. You're
Anything,
right.
mariachi, reggaeton, we've done it all. We've done it all and then some. And no other genre in this world can do that. And that's been our blessing and our curse because why? Because in corporate America, they don't know where in the hell to put us because we're so many things. That's been what's hard.
That's our culture, though.
Yeah.
In general, Shelly,
We dance everything. We listen
dance
everything.
We're open. I mean, you go to a Tejano concert, and I say this all the time. It's crazy because you'll see a guy with a cowboy hat, you'll see a guy with a baseball cap,
Yeah.
you'll see a guy with a lowrider hat, you'll see a guy wearing cowboy boots, Stacey Adams,
absolutely.
Vans, like
chanclas, it don't matter, man.
whatever.
It's like,
our culture is so it's so rich with like just different people.
Diversity.
And you're right. There you go. That's the word, diversity. We're so diverse that it makes us so unique. And I never thought about it like that. You're
we
absolutely right
are.
about playing instruments.
I still feel like Tejano music is still a sleeping giant. I really do. I really feel that in my heart. I really feel like there is another level that I'm not talking about going back to the 90s like you said. I don't want to go there, y'all. I want to go past that, okay? We're not living in the rearview mirror.
You don't want people hitting the bus and shit.
And then some just try to walk in and everything. My band's in their chones. It's like, really, guys? I mean, you're like walking into our house. But my dad has beat up a few people who try to do that. I'll be honest. But I believe in it so much. I really, really do. But we all have to freaking be on the same page. Will that happen? Will we all be on the same page? Probably not. But if we can get at least 90% of us thinking the same and putting it into action, yes. I tell the new artists, y'all can record new music all you want. Honestly, if you're a new artist and all you're doing is recording music, you're wasting your money. That's my opinion. When you record music to get out there to play it live and to get on the road, that's where you're gonna see if you're made for this industry. If you're made to be in the industry, if you're made to be on the road.
There's probably some people that can record, but once you put them live, like I'm not gonna, I'll never do this.
No, you're
but there's
right.
some people. They
can't implement it live like they do on record.
I hear it on the radio. I'm like, God, I love that song, and then I'm like, they're coming. I'm gonna go watch them.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go watch them. Like
that's called auto tune.
Hey, that note, it's not there. Like, where is the group that I hear on the radio?
And see, again, I go back to thank God where I am in the era that I was, because again, training vocally, I never had any vocal training or anything like that, but I've always taken very good care of myself, which is why I don't drink alcohol, especially when I'm performing. For one, because it's not professional. Two, because it dehydrates you. So I mean,
So Shelly, before I don't cut you off, but so in all the years in the industry, no alcohol.
well, they try to take you a shot sometimes, right? And it's like, and people are like, take it, drink it, man, and people don't understand, alcohol dehydrates you, as we all know. And it dehydrates your vocal cords. It's not good for you vocally.
That's me saying that.
Yeah,
Drink
it's
it,
like,
drink
yeah,
it.
it's like, yeah, it's not.
Give it to me. Just
It's
give
like,
it to
yeah,
me.
it's not good. And then, we do a lot of outdoor shows, which is why I can wear a jacket in the heat because I'm hydrated. I really, the night before, if I know I'm doing an outdoor event, I'm hydrating like crazy.
You were just down
but it's
SeaWorld.
SeaWorld. It's discipline, and promoters are hiring you to do a job, okay? And I don't want my guys buzzed because I'm not doing it. They're representing me. So I don't tolerate that. That just doesn't happen. You get paid to be up there. And we get paid to put on a show for the fans that are paying to go see us. So they deserve nothing but us to have our A game and to play the music like it is when they buy the record. That's what we should do, but that's professionalism. You have to do that. It just doesn't
Shelly, you
look
sure
good.
you weren't in the Marine Corps, man?
You know what? I talked to you about being a caretaker. The woman that I took care of for 3 years, her husband was a colonel in the Army. And he's like, oh, you would have been so good in the military.
Dude,
I said, I had the military of my father. That's what I had.
Everything that I've heard you speak about and talk about, it's like, God dang, dude, you would have been perfect in the Marine Corps. Like you would have.
Well, I believe that people are born to be leaders, and I know that's what I was born to be. I've known that since I was a kid. I never liked to do what everyone else was doing. I know God gave me my own brain. I could make my own decisions. I don't need to be influenced to do something if I know. We all know right from wrong. And I was, like that coach, like that cheerleader, that's what I like to do. I like helping people. I like to see people prosper. It makes me happy to see people prosper, because why are you going to be mad at someone who's kicking ass? Why are you going to be mad at him?
True.
Hey,
before I forget, because if not, then he'll get mad. The number one promoter of Wacky Wednesday. Yeah. Shout out to DJ Brandon.
Hey, Brandon.
From Pearsall, Texas. Shout out to, let's see who else is watching here. Oh, La Chismosa. What's up, Chismosa?
What's up?
Man, she's funny as hell. Chismosa is funny as heck.
Awesome.
Man.
Hey, Joelle.
Let's see. You can go through here a little bit. Video is being interrupted due to your service.
Yeah, we went off a couple of times. I saw that. I think so.
Is it good now though?
Right now we're on, right? Y'all can see us.
I can see it.
Yeah. I'm.
Hello, Martha. She's always on my social media. Ozzy, hey, what's up, guys? Hey, while you guys are watching, it helps if you share this live too.
Exactly.
Please share this live. Sharing is caring, y'all.
Sharing
we want
is caring.
Bumpers numbers to go up.
Exactly. We're trying to. Shelly, for real, man. Like, I'm sitting here thinking, and you're next to me, and I'm just like, Shelly Lares is here. You know what I mean? And I was telling you how I started the show being silly, drinking alcohol, dehydrating myself.
There you go.
On live, and then just to see where it's at, today.
Where it's going. That's super awesome.
So I see you brought the guitar.
Yeah, we did. And the guy comes with it.
How long have you been with Shelly?
Oh, how long have you played here with me?
Going about 4 years.
Maybe about 4 years. But Steve has been in the industry for quite some time. A lot of people may not know this, but he also performs with Texas Latino.
Okay.
Because I work with Sebi Contreras. It's like Monster Studios. Sebi is like my right hand in the studio. We co-produce together, and he is on everything that Sebi produces. He's a studio musician for that. So, and he's an award winner too. He's been inducted into the Tejano Roots Hall of Fame.
Hell yeah.
So, I think that's one award that he and I are both really proud of, because everybody's like, what's your biggest accolade? And I could have easily said, my Grammy nominations and stuff. But to be honest, it has to be my Tejano Roots induction, because that's my genre, and I was inducted on my 25th year when I hit 25 years. And it was like,
and here you are still kicking 15 years later.
Yeah, longevity, guys, that's probably the hardest thing to do, is to have longevity, stamina. in what you're doing. And that's something my father always taught me. You know, they're not going to remember your one hit. They're going to remember you by how long you've been doing what you do.
You know, Shelly, I think the other thing is like, you know, what you saying that, you know, the artist, you can do, like artists can do hit after hit after hit. They can go and help with this nonprofit. They can do this, they can do that, they can do this, but they're human beings.
Yeah.
So the minute they do something wrong, it's like, oh, they're horrible. They're the most horriblest person in the world. You know what I mean? And it's like,
Cancel.
You know, and I tell the new artists two things. I'm like, there's two things, y'all. Just because you record music doesn't mean radio has to play you. You're not obligated to be played just because you record. Okay. Two, one, that's even goes for us as veteran artists. Two, you're not going to make everybody happy. Okay. If you think you're going to please every single person out there, if I were to think that every single person watching is a Shelly Lares fan, I'm in La La Land. You know, not everybody's going to have a taste for my music, and that's okay. And I'll say that at my shows, right? I'm like, even if you don't like my music, that's fine. As long as you're supporting Tejano, I don't care. You know, that's fine with me. But, you know, that's so true, because I can be at my show for 2 hours straight. We're playing. I get off freaking tired. My feet are killing me wearing my stupid heels.
stupid.
And I'm signing and taking pictures with every single, till the last person is there. And Steve can vouch for this, till the last person is there. And you'll still have one idiot be like, well, she didn't take a picture with me. She's stuck up. And I'm like, oh, for the love of God. I'll give you a story, dude. I'll share a story time. This dude from Pecos messages me. Sorry, that's his hometown.
Pecos, Texas, your hometown?
Yeah.
That's way out there.
So
actually didn't mean for that to come out.
I know he messages me
the scandal.
on my Shelly Lares fans, and he's like, goes into the story of meeting me when Johnny Canales, or there was a show I think Johnny Canales was doing there, and apparently I was performing, and he wanted that he was touching my leg, and that I was rude to him. Something to that effect. And he was like, don't you think I should share this story? He didn't know he was talking to me. Again, he thought someone else had my social media. And he's like, don't you think that's a story that should go viral? That she's so rude. And I was like, this dude. So I'm like, first of all, you're talking to me. I said, and as a matter of fact, I remember that day. Because I had my sticks. I was playing my timbales.
Yeah.
And he would not let go of my leg. I remember that specifically. And when we're wearing heels as it is, we got to be careful with holes in the stage. We got to be careful with cords in the way.
Right.
You know, balance is super important. You know, I sing with my eyes closed, which is just how I sing. So sometimes I'll go off balance, you know, because I'm like singing. And I remember him holding on to me, and he would not let me go. And I remember I just went, like that on his hand with my stick. And I told him, I said, look, just because we're an artist, we're still a human being. And we have a right to not want people to touch us.
Yeah, hell yeah.
You know, that's my space.
Exactly.
You know, so I wound up asking a really good friend of mine who's from Pecos, and she knows like
everybody.
Sheriffs, city council, and because he claimed to be on city council at one point.
Oh,
and she's like, oh yeah, he's BSing you, Shelly. So I mentioned all these names, but you want to know what I did? And you know what he said to me after I said all that? He's like, well, I would love to get a picture from you. I sent him a picture. I mailed him a picture.
You were the bigger person.
I mailed that schmuck a picture. Picture I could have made $5-7 with. I sent it to him.
Hey, did you draw a hand?
I should have. But you know, you're not going to please every person. And guys, there's always a reason why maybe we don't take a picture, why maybe we don't stop, because you don't know. You know, I had a stalker for a lot of time, so I couldn't take pictures for a little while. For my safety. Yeah. So there's always a reason, especially, I'm not speaking for other artists, but for me, there's an underlining reason if I don't, you know, for whatever reason. Now, if I go up to you and I tell you, you know, get out of my face, you got a legitimate reason to talk crap about me. But, you know, it's just, it's the nature of the beast though, you know?
So Shelly, in 39 years that you've been going at this, you've never just had a day where you just got off the stage.
Oh, that's all the time, right?
It was hot, and you're just like, if this son of a gun comes and asks me for something.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes because, you're tired or we're eating or it doesn't really bother me. Unless they're annoying, yeah, some people are just
Necio,
rude.
that's one of your words.
Necia. Don't think it's only guys, because women can be like that too. But for the most part, everyone is super cool. Everyone is super nice. And again, you have to stop to think as a fan, that's a blessing that you can stay in line after the show, and that artist that you've looked up to will stand there, sign us something for you, take a picture with you, and you're not having to pay for that. Because in any other genre, that's called VIP access, and you have to pay extra for that.
Yep.
And we don't do that. So, come on.
Hold on, Shelly. We use a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of Tejano people don't, but there is some.
But some do. Well, like Michael does, but Michael has it for his foundation that he does every Christmas.
So the money goes to
that's what that goes to. He gives toys and it's a good cause. That's different. So if artists do that, there's a reason. But I'm saying, you're not having to pay an extra $1,200 to take a picture and talk with your favorite artist that you grew up listening to. I mean,
just start a podcast and they can come over and talk to you.
You know what I'm trying to say? So, but I don't know. I wasn't checking to see what is it. Everyone would have done the same. Absolutely. If anybody requested a song, did they request anything? Do you know?
Everybody's been requesting a song.
I see a Soy Tu Amor.
Yeah.
Soy Tu Amor.
Whatever you want to jam, as long as it's live. Check it out.
Oh.
I'm
okay.
These dang panels, you're supposed to put glue on.
Oh, that's okay.
But I don't want to, because I don't want to ruin my wall.
I wouldn't either, dude. I really wouldn't. It sounds really good in this room, actually. Right? So there's a little bit of slap back, but it's nothing crazy.
If whatever, if you want to jam.
Okay, we can do Soy Tu Amor if you want to. Right? Sure. So it's Ay, mi amorcito, dime otra vez que soy tu querer. Y cuando me besas, siento emoción en mi corazón. Dime otra vez lo mucho que me quieres y que sin tu amor muy triste vivieras. Ven a abrazarme. Junto a ti siempre quiero estar. Tú y tu sonrisa traen placer a mi corazón. Dime otra vez lo mucho que me quieres y sin tu amor muy triste vivieras. Soy tu amor, tu amor, tu amor. Soy tu amor, tu amor. Quiero que me digas soy tu amor, tu amor, tu amor. Soy tu amor.
That's it?
We can't do can't do my timbal solo. There we go.
Hey, speaking of the timbales, is that something you did since you were little, or
no? One
day you just like, hey, I'm gonna try this out.
Basically, that's really what happened. Well, my brother, you see, I grew up in a very musical family. I have my oldest sister, Patty, is 11 years older than me. Then my brother, 10 years older than me, and then my sister Laura, 9 years older than me.
Wow, so you're a real big, like you.
Yeah,
you
that was 9
baby,
years after. Yeah, after my sister Laura. So my sister Laura, my sister Patty, and my brother all can sing. My father and my mother, and my brother. You know, they all went to Jefferson High School. That's where they went.
Jeff, shout out to all my peeps from Jeff.
I went to Providence High School, Providence. Yeah. So. My brother was in band, you know, he was in band, he was in jazz band. So he played the drums, played guitar, played piano. So he had a drum set around And I was so fascinated by the drum set. He wouldn't let my sisters touch any of the instruments, just me. And so I remember being on the drums. But it was probably in 1990. We were in Grand Prairie, and we always used to like to go to the music store right after sound check. It was like, you know, what musician doesn't like to go to music stores?
Like a candy
So we would
store
go
for-
all the time to Brooke Mays. This is when Brooke Mays was in Dallas, and I see some timbales there, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool, you know. So I told my dad, I was like, maybe I should play. You know, I played guitar already. I was like, maybe I should play the timbales or something. He's like, let's try it. So we just set him up that night, and the moment I started to play them, I didn't really like study it. I mean, even to this day, I don't practice.
You just
But
do it off
I
the
just
beat,
got
like
on
you
there,
just-
and then like the people were like, what the heck's happening, you know? So now, even at our shows, right? Even if there's like nobody standing there, the minute that I get behind those timbales, like cameras just and people just come to this because
Yeah,
they
hell
like
yeah.
that, you know, and they're like, the harder I hit them, the more excited they get. And I'm breaking sticks and, you know, and, but,
Throw me the
but it
stick.
just kind of became, you know, my little signature for myself and, you know, playing guitar during the country songs and stuff like that. But,
who is the beside yourself? I'm having a brain fart. The girl who played, like she would stand up there and play the. Like she's a rocker though. What's her name?
A rocker? She played guitar or what?
Or
Or
I wanna
percussion. Are you talking about Sheila E?
Sheila E. There
Oh
you go.
yeah, and you know Sheila E and I were both signed with Toca Percussion. You know she was endorsed by Toca, and so was I. So I got to do a lot of clinics with her. You know, be in the room,
Yeah.
and that woman's like, oh, that's a whole different level of perfection.
Really?
You know, she's amazing. Yeah, she was like playing, and she had like this pantsuit, really nice pantsuit with heels on, and she was playing, and I swear she like kicked her leg up and hit her cymbal with her heel, and I was like, holy crap! But yeah, it was just awesome. But she's a super cool person. You know, I've got a chance to talk to her, and she plays backwards because that's how she learned from her father. She was like like a mirror, so she plays everything backwards. But
Because
you
she
know,
used to look at herself in
she
the
would
mirror.
watch. No, she would watch her dad. She would stand in front of her father.
I got you.
Yeah, and she was super cool. But I never, you know, studied music. To this day, I can't read music. I just play everything by ear. You know. But
Most amazing artists say what you just said. Like people are coming like, bro, you give them a sheet of
Yeah,
music,
it's
they'll be
Chinese
like,
to me, dude.
what
I
is
can't
this?
read it for nothing, man.
I don't know what this is. Just let me hear it, and I got you.
right.
Shelly, a little bit about you. You know, we've been a lot on music. What is a typical day for Shelly Lares?
Ooh, besides working.
Running.
Yeah, running. I love to run. I ran my 12 miles today.
You ran 12 miles today.
Yeah.
Where do you? What?
I can't tell you where I go.
Okay, that's cool.
I don't
That's
say
fine.
where I go.
Yeah, but 12 miles.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't
do
even
that.
like
I
driving
love
12
to
miles.
Run. I love to run. I love to run. That's my. I'm like so not. I'm not a girly girl. I never have been. I've always been a tomboy since I was a kid. I mean, my mom and dad would get mad at me because I would have my chongos, and my mom would be like, "Don't go play football." Okay, and I go and you know all the
Tackle
boys
football
wanted
in
me
the
to be on their
neighborhood.
team because I was like hardcore, man. I'm telling you, I never half-assed anything. I would tackle hard. I meant it. And I would come with leaves in my hair. Mom would be like, were you playing football? No, with the leaves in my hair. My chongo's all crooked. So I've always been a tomboy. But yeah, I love to run. It's my spa time. I am not like manicure, pedicure, go to the spa, get a facial. That's just not me. But I hate going to get my hair done. I do my own hair.
I think you're crushing a lot of girls' hearts right now.
But they already, if they're a Shelly fan, they know that about me already. So usually, like when I wake up, it's mostly work related. You know, like right now, I'm fixing to do a couple of collaborations. So I woke up to that today, and I'm like, I got to go get my run in because it really helps. You know, that's where I focus. That's where I reflect. That's where I really
And that's average, Shelly?
I try to get a 12-mile run in a week. If I don't do that, I for sure do my 8-mile for sure.
But do you run every single day?
I try to if it's every other day. if I can.
Man.
But I just love it. I mean, I don't really realize, 2 hours go by, and I run the 12. I can, like, I think today was 2 hours and 26 minutes maybe. But I mean, I try to run. I'm the type of person, like, I can't run slow because then I get tired. If I run really fast, I don't get tired. It's weird. I don't know. But
that makes
I know.
I got tired just thinking about it.
And even, especially
I'm thinking, like, what is she just
especially
saying?
during COVID, I ran with my mask on. And I'm like, y'all, if I can run two hours with a mask on, you can wear a mask to walk into a store.
No, but you're gonna be like those people at CrossFit that wear those
the training masks.
the training oxygen masks.
I thought about those, but I was like, I really don't need it. I run, I have a certain rhythm. I'm a musician, so I run to a rhythm. I have my own rhythm that I run to. And it was like that even when I studied martial arts, when I would fight and, spar, I would attack when they would breathe in. I learned that from my sensei. So when I would get them tired on purpose, because I would know when they were going like this, I knew what their breathing rhythm was. So when they would go in is when I would attack.
So the guy from Pecos is lucky that
I studied martial arts for 4 years.
He didn't get a heel to the throat.
Yeah, no, I can definitely take care of myself. I ain't worried about that.
Oh,
but
man.
I just love it. So it's usually work. And now, my mom and I, because after my father suffered his stroke in '99, my mom took over as road manager. So she started doing, a lot of the road stuff. Dad did booking still from the house, but he wouldn't go on the road. And then when daddy just daddy passed, the last 2-3 years, mom and I kind of started taking over a little bit more of the business,
Right.
more hands-on, because as we talked about technology, it wasn't that my mom wasn't doing things the right way. It's just things were changing. I have a website now.
And fast,
I have a website now. So that's all money that filters into my business, from my merchandise to my downloads and those are things my mom's not familiar with. So see, I do all of that. So now, it was very important for me to kind of take over a little bit more. So, mom and I, we make a really good team. We work together and try to make things happen. And now my girlfriend is so, hands-on with a lot of things that I do. She's my webmaster. She and I make my merchandise. She's the one that sends the merch out when people order. She's my makeup artist. She's my stylist. She does my hair. So it's like
Jack of all trades and a
it's like,
master.
we drive. She and I are the drivers. We drive the van. She hooks and unhooks the trailer and moves it around, and it's like, I mean, it's just we're a family on the road. So it's like we don't really look at it as work sometimes. But it does take a lot. I mean, people don't realize it takes a lot of endurance to be on the road. It takes a lot of endurance. It's not as easy as people think it is.
Does your girlfriend, does she work a full-time job as well?
She owns her own business. It's called Lady Leo's Looks. And she sells makeup and hair and skin products. And she's working on her website right now, because she was actually going to school. She's going to school still to be a realtor. That's another passion of hers. So she'll be doing one more course and becoming a realtor. But when she got with me, she studied makeup and hair and, skin and all of that years before we got together. And then when she got with me, she had introduced me to a friend of hers that was a makeup artist. So he was doing my makeup. And one weekend, I had a 3-day weekend, he didn't show up. So she did it. And I was like, I'm sure you know what you're doing. She was like, oh yeah. And I just fell in love with how she did my makeup. That's so many people comment on that now. She did it for that shoot, especially too. And so she was like, you made me realize my passion again. It's like it came back, and she loves it. She's good at it. She did Monica Saldivar's, single, and she did the girls when we did Nada de Ti video and cover. And she's starting to work with a lot of the girls in the Tejano industry, which I think is really cool.
Shelly, you said something that, she's your girlfriend. Mm-hmm. How was that for you as an established artist to finally be comfortable and coming out and just saying, hey, I don't
think I was really ever uncomfortable.
Well,
and
no,
it wasn't
I don't mean it like that.
I
mean? Just like where
I know what you're saying. I don't think I really had a coming out moment to my fans, if that's what you mean. I never really did. I just started sharing my life. like one day just started sharing my life on my Facebook because I didn't have, my mom started my Shelly Lares Facebook when it first came out. So she was kind of like answering and doing that for me. And then I took it over. Then I just started sharing my life where I was at that time. And I think it wasn't maybe till 2012 is when I really started, you know, being open with my fans. And I would just share pictures or stories, and very few were negative. I would have to say I can probably count it on one hand that I saw. Okay. I mean, that's not to say that it was behind my back and stuff like that. Right. And even to this day, but, for the most part, fans were just, but it's so weird because the fans that have been with me since then and have gone through like the last few relationships I've had, they're like, they see me different now. I see me different now. Even when I look at a picture of myself in 2012, I'm like, wow. I mean, I look so different. I look unhappy.
You look happier now.
I look unhappy, and I really was. I was for a lot of reasons. I wasn't taking care of myself physically. I was in a toxic relationship in 2012 and after that. And it's just like toxic, meaning like the energy just wasn't good for me. That's what I mean.
Every day it was like, God damn.
It just wasn't good, you know? And I think once I showed myself self-love first, and then Mia comes along. It's like, that's really what I had to realize was, look, someone doesn't make me happy. I'm happy without someone. It's just they add to my happiness. So Mia adds to my happiness. I don't need Mia to make me happy. So, you know, but never, ever, ever have I ever had a relationship where they wholeheartedly supported me, not only what I do, like personally, my well-being, as, are you okay as a inside? Are you good? You know, and that's who she is. She's like a super beautiful person inside and out. Super funny. Like all we do is laugh. Like we freaking laugh every freaking day. But,
Shelly,
she's hilarious.
I mean, hearing you talk to me like that, like just, you know, here next to me, hearing you say that, that's what makes you badass as a person. No, I'm not blowing smoke your way. Like I'm being serious. Like that really makes you Shelly Lares. It makes you badass because you know what? The way you did it, you didn't have to come out and say, hey, you know, you just, hey, this is my life. If you like it and you dig it, I'm here. If you don't,
exactly. I mean,
scroll up.
You know, it's so funny because artists just asked me this just 2 days ago. Shelly, how do you deal with negativity on social media? I said, I don't deal with it. I just ban and delete. Bye. I ain't got time for you. It's very few times. There's only maybe been a couple of times that I've gone on social media upset. And that has to be like something really like, whether a promoter burned us or, you know, when I talked about my stalker, that was something pretty serious. So those were really the only times. But I don't open myself up. And I think if you exude positivity, it's going to come back to you. And that's what I've noticed. The more positive I am and the positive energy that I give out,
so
I get back.
You're a big believer in positive vibes.
Absolutely. And
there's a lot of people that don't believe in that stuff.
I'm very astute to my surroundings and to people's energy and how, you know, I feel. I'm not judging them, but I know when something just doesn't feel right, you know?
No, I can. No. I, you know, I'm going to be honest with you. My wife is really, really big on that. Like really? She's like, hey, I'm
not getting a good vibe.
I don't like the vibe.
That's your inner voice. That's
right. And so I used to be like,
listen to it.
Yeah.
I used to tell her, like, man, come on, calm down. Like this, that, not that.
No,
not
and
that.
going back to relationships, you know, like, you know, we've all been in this situation where like, dang, something going on. You're asking yourself this. Are they doing something? They are. Because that's your inner voice telling you something. That's your inner voice. And I ignored that inner voice too damn many times. Trust me. Trust me, y'all. And so I was like, you know what? I can't do that anymore. I have to listen to myself. I have to listen to what's happening.
Right.
Pay attention. you know, and that's another gift. That's an inner voice that God gave you. It's like, pay attention, you know? So I'm very that. I'm a very sensitive, intense person, I think.
Well, I mean, what I was saying is like, my wife used to tell me that stuff, and I would, you know, I'm a Marine. Like, I'm just like, dude, like, you know what I mean?
So you mean to tell me, let's give you an example. If you're in combat and you're approaching something tells you, I got to watch it over there. You didn't listen to that?
Yes.
Okay, there it is.
I know, but people, that's a situation.
No, well, it's the same damn thing she's telling you.
You know, she would say that, and I would be like, you just don't like them. Like
no.
You know, and she's like, no, like it's just something. So as like, you know what? Literally, after I retired from the Marine Corps, and I just started becoming more of just a normal person every day. It wasn't, you know, getting out of the military mindset. She was right.
Yeah.
Like, and I started getting better at it. Like, and I would tell her too, like sometimes like, hey man, I don't want those people in our life. And well, we've been I don't like, it just brings negativity.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. I don't need it. Like, I don't need drama. If it ain't my drama, I don't need your drama.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And that's what I try to tell every person I talk to, you know, because believe it or not, I'm also I'm a life coach to a lot of artists out there, because they will call me and they'll ask me personal things. You know, we talk about personal things because I don't sugarcoat anything. Okay. If you're asking my opinion, I'm going to tell you flat out, but I don't know if I have a way of putting it into perspective. I think that's just something that is another, you know, positive thing that I think I have. I have a way of making people understand it in a different way. So I am a lot of life coaches to a lot of artists out there, and I love it, you know, because like I said, I just feel like my industry trusts me, you know. That
and you being a very honest person, because sometimes you don't want to call the person that's going to tell you what you want to hear.
Yeah.
You want to call the person that's going to assess the situation and say, you're wrong.
Yeah, you don't need people around you just stroking your ego all the time.
Exactly. Exactly.
And that's one thing that makes me so uncomfortable. I posted a video yesterday of a girl that I met, Stephanie, who's a singer as well. She was part of the project, and she was doing an interview with Mingo and Mariano.
When you walked in?
When I walked in.
Yes.
And when I met her, I saw her, you know, I was trying to be quiet. I was like, you know, and I kept walking. But when she came up to me and they introduced me, and they're like, she freaked out. When you walked in, I was like, oh, that's cool. You know, you hear people say I freaked out or whatever. But when they sent me the video and I saw it, I was like, wow. And my mom's like, how does that make you feel? I'm like, almost like uncomfortable. I don't know how to explain it.
There's no that situation you're talking about. There's no easy way to say how it would make you feel. There's no easy answer.
It makes me feel like, because like even a new artist, I don't feel superior to anyone again. Do you see what I'm saying? Like when I got the girls on my record, I told them, I'm like, I'm not, you know, I'm getting y'all because I know you're badass singers. I know that you can, you know, no disrespect to my sisters, Elle and Steph, you know, but I know that y'all have the caliber of vocals like they do. You know what I'm saying? So when people come, I don't like an entourage. Like, that's just not me. I don't like people like.
You don't have an entourage?
Like, no.
Your mom.
My mom and Miss G. And yeah. My team of women. That's it. And then my boys, you know. But I'm not a don't make a big hoopla type person. I just, especially when I'm not on, you know, when I'm just not working or whatever. I would like, I don't know. It's just a weird thing. It's weird, but it. No, but
that video, it is on
super
YouTube.
Cute.
It's pretty cool. The young lady's like literally getting interviewed, and you just hear a little bit of background noise, and somebody says like, "Oh, Shelly Lares is here," and she just like stopped. She's like, "You can stop. You can stop it. It's Shelly Lares. Like you can stop." And she literally breaks down in tears. I mean, how do you?
It was so cute though to see that. Excited. Yeah, she got really excited and she was like, "Oh my," you know, like I was like, "What?" I didn't know that was her reaction.
We can stop for Shelly. Shelly's here.
Oh man.
And Mingo just kept rolling.
He just kept doing it.
But her face when I walked is what the cutest part was when she's like, hi. Like, it was like she looks off camera. It was so cute. But shout out to Stephanie, girl. I mean, and I got to meet her, and
Bitty Banda.
yeah, she's awesome. She's really good. Really,
She has
very talented.
she has Selena right here, right?
That's so sweet. I think so.
I think she has a tattoo.
Which I think is really cool. And
Shelly, the people are there. As I've been like, for the last week, I've been picking here, picking there, looking up stuff like. And you said you don't think you're closing a chapter, opening a new chapter. As a fan, literally, I'm crushed. No, and just because you're a staple, like you can always say, like when somebody says Shelly Lares, she's right there. We're not gonna be able to. Yes, your music will always be.
Me as a person, I'm still gonna be there for my industry. I'm still gonna be an advocate. I'm still gonna be a mentor. I'm still gonna be, I want to do a lot more writing. That's for sure. I want to get back to more writing. I want to have a few writing sessions with some of my, peers, and I'm still going to be very, visible within my industry. I'm just not going to be performing anymore. I'm not going to be touring anymore and recording anymore as far as solo record. I do have one more album I'm doing, but it's a Christian album. And that is something that I wanted to do for years because I felt like my ultimate thank you to God is to glorify his name through music. That's my ultimate thank you for giving me the gift of music. To me, it wouldn't be going out in my Tejano LMD 82. That's more of a personal gift to God from me. That's why I'm doing the Christian album, hopefully very soon. But yeah, I mean, I'm still, and they're even asking me, are you still going to host Vegas? Are you still going to have Shelly's All American Showcase at the convention? I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I know next year for sure. But after next year, I don't know, because that was something that I'm very proud of, that I was able to start with Sarah Chavez from the Tejano Music National Convention, was my idea of showcasing.
That's coming up, right?
In a couple of weeks? in next week.
Next week.
Showcasing new artists from all over the nation, and to have this platform of the convention in Las Vegas. For me to have this stage and for it to be named after me, and for me to have total control of the artists performing there, and, hosting the stage Friday and Saturday. And, it means a lot to me. So I don't know. I think I joked around with Steph because we had dinner not that long ago. I was like, sister, you're going to take over for me. She's like, no way, man.
Hell no.
No way. I
Logistical
was like,
nightmare.
dude, you entertain people all the time. She's like, I can't do what you do, Shell. I can't put people down and it be okay. I was like, but, to me, Steph's, her personality, it's, very lively. But at the same time, she's professional about it, So I was like, I don't know. I don't know yet. It's
Shelly,
kind of hard to say.
I'm gonna talk to you from the outside looking in, because in a sense, I've been in your shoes. In a sense, you have a switch that's been turned on since 1982.
I know.
You have a switch.
It's
right behind. It's right behind your ear.
Yeah.
It's right behind your ear, and it's been on. And no matter what you do, no matter how you try to fight it, hide it, whatever you want to do with it, you'll never be able to turn that switch off.
Well, of course not. I mean, because I'm a musician. I'm an artist. I'm a creative person.
But what I mean by that is, like, you speaking about Vegas, right? Are you gonna still do it? Are you gonna, all these little things, like, you're gonna be not swamped, but when you go back to school,
yeah,
you know what I mean? You're gonna be dedicated to going to school.
Absolutely.
And I just think that switch is, like, for you and just being around you right now.
Yeah.
I don't think there's like a middle, like,
well,
hey,
no.
let me tone it down. It's either it's on.
No, I'm all or nothing. I'm like
that's
that.
what I mean.
I'm like that in my work. I'm like that in my relationships. I'm all or nothing. I do not live in gray area at all. I'm yes or no.
Black or white.
Black or white. Know what you want, know what you don't. I never believe in when people say, I don't know. Yes, you do. You're just not manifesting it by saying it out loud. But you do know. You never do not know. But because, like I said, I will give 150% to what I'm passionate about. That's for sure. But I mean, my outlet is going to be my writing. You know, I've written a lot of songs. I have a lot of songs I've never even recorded. I write a lot of country music.
Up in the middle of the
actually.
road? You just, I mean, in the middle of the road. Do you just like? There's some people tell me like,
I write in my car.
I get up in the middle of the night like I had a dream and I have to
Sometimes.
get up and like give me a pen.
But I write a lot of country music. I've written a lot of country music. A lot.
Lost your girlfriend, lost your car.
Yeah,
lost your
no,
house.
I've written a lot. So, but I mean, I do have some Tejano stuff. Even JJ, you know, Reyes, who was someone I wrote with since 1989. He was in my band then. And, you know, even until, up until recently, he suffered a stroke, you know, this year, unfortunately. And we were working on the LMD 82 album when he had the stroke. And that was my like go-to person. You know, that was my other side of my musical brain.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been very devastating, you know, for so many reasons. But I believe in signs as well. You know, God sends me signs. There was a reason this happened. And I have been many places like recently, and I kid you not, there will always be a nurse there. And they will tell me, well, I'm a nurse. Every single time. And I know it's God's way of telling me, you're making the right decision, Shelly.
Here's your sign.
This is what you're meant to do. This is what I want for you next. So I listen to that. You know, I don't close myself off to what God is telling me, you know, in my heart. So, but it was really devastating because, you know, we wrote so many songs, and I have boxes and boxes of songs that we've arranged and written that we have never done anything with. So my plan is, of course, to maybe pitch them to other artists, you know, throughout the year, you know, these next few years. Again, producing, because I genuinely prefer being in the studio than I do on stage. I just really do. Not that I don't like seeing everybody's faces and entertaining y'all, because I do. But if you're asking me which one do I like better, I like being in the studio with the guys. I like creating music from the beginning to the end. And I think my problem is I've never really documented my process. So fans, you know, will hear me say, yeah, you know, she arranges, she produces, but I don't think they really realize how much I'm involved in what I do in my music. You know, Sevi used to be in my band when he was 13 years old. And, you know, he went on to have Texas Latino, which he does, and then opened up his studio. And my father used to be like, go record with Severo, mija. You need to, he's doing good. Go record over there. So that's why I went over there. And I'm not going to lie, it was really tough because I didn't have JJ. He was playing country music at this time. I didn't have Brad Green, who was someone I worked with when I was with the Huss Records, and he passed away in 2016 at 44 years old. He was my part of my team. So see, like a little by little, people were getting out. So I was forced to be like, okay, Shelly, you already know what you want. You know how you want it to sound. You know how you want it to be. So when I worked with Sebi for the first time, it was tough because he wasn't on the same musical brainwave as I was.
You're used to he was the other side of you.
He's amazing at what he does. He does great progressive Tejano. If you want straight up progressive Tejano, he does that amazingly. But let's bring to the table, you know, Devuélveme el corazón. You know, I was like, Sevi, this is how it's going to be. It's going to be more of a ballad cumbia, and it's going to have a dynamic part where it's not going to be like the original version. And he's like, okay. And I mean, when I get in the studio, I'm like 100 miles an hour. So I'm like, this is going to sound like this. When it's just me and him, it's like this, and this is how it's going to be. And he's like, and he's super chill. So we're complete opposite. And so for him to for us to get used to each other and how we operate. And I'm the person, like, again, I can be in the studio for 250 hours straight and be fine.
Not bother you one bit.
And he has to go take a smoke break every 10 minutes. And I'm like, you're ruining my groove. And that's, even to this day, that's been like the hardest thing for me is in working with him, is that I'm like, come on, dude, this is because once it's there and it's in my mind, because I hear it, you know, Sal si puedes. Sal Si Puedes, which is what they're requesting, by the way.
So
Sal Si Puedes is a big band arrangement from 1937. Okay. And I love big band music. I knew I wanted to implement it in my music. And I knew back in the 30s and 40s, there were Latin big bands. Their music is not as easy to find as you think as American, like Glenn Miller's. You can find Glenn Miller easy.
Yeah.
You can't find Latin
Orchestra,
big bands
big band orchestras
from the
back in the
30s and 40s. So like I researched, and I found Sal Si Puedes. I was like, this is exactly how I want it. This is the song I want to do. But the beginning, I want to transport people to 1937. I want them to understand. So I had an announcer and I had it sound like an old radio. And, I did a 3-part harmony that is not on the original version. And when I came to Sebi and I'm like, okay, this is a song. I played it for him and we couldn't even figure out the freaking key because the song was so damn old. He was like, Shelly, what are we doing? I said, dude. And he goes, okay. He started doing like the conga. He started doing the drums. And I said, no drums. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, there's no drums in this song. No drums, no guitar. Sorry, Steve. No guitar. There was just going to be orchestra, voice, percussion. That's it. Because I wanted it to legitimately sound like 1937 as far as the instrumentation.
Right.
So he was like, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And that's what he always tells me. It's not going to work. It's not going to sound good. I'm like, if it sounds good in here, it's going to sound good there. I already know. So, I'm so
I've just
proud
been
of him.
doing this for 40 years.
Yeah, nine-piece orchestra for the first time ever. He mixed without any drums, without any keyboards, without any guitar.
That's hard. That's
and just an
thinking
upright
about
bass. Just a bass. I said, Severo, I know you can do it, man. I know you can. And he did. And he kicked ass. And it's a fan favorite, right now. But, there's no rules in music.
That's
there's really no rules. And if I hear it in my head, then that's what has to come out. It has
right
to be
then
that way.
there, like
has to be that way. And I was used to working with JJ where I'd be like, okay, it's gonna go, and he would play exactly the next part that I was freaking hearing without my even telling him.
Dude, that's crazy.
He would play it, and it was like, Soy Tu Amor was our very first #1 song that we wrote. That was one of our biggest hits. We made a lot of money on that song, a lot, and that's that we didn't even get our full share. But here he brought to the table a reggae bass line, which you would hear some, but not legit. And then teaching my bass player at the time, he was a conjunto player. And he's looking at JJ like JJ's crazy. And he freaking mastered JJ's bass lines that he wrote.
That's crazy.
But, I don't know. Music.
It's a beauty of our genre.
Yeah, it's just crazy how people don't really know how involved I am in the music that I've done. My girlfriend, she gets pissed at me all the time. She's like, you never give yourself enough credit when it comes to what you do in the records, what you arrange and whatnot. Like, well, I just do it. It's on the credits. She's like, but still, you always talk about Sevi and you don't talk about yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well,
you got to give yourself credit for it's coming out of your head.
Yeah.
You know
and
what I mean?
Maybe because I haven't produced a lot of other artists. I've only produced like a couple, like Angelique and Crystal Torres. Those are the only really two that I've really produced. So maybe that's another reason why people don't really kind of give the respect, like they do your Gabes or your Mario O's or your Eddie Perez's, But
hey, with time.
But I don't know. I just feel.
Hey, Shelly, are you one of those people that when you're in the studio and you're in charge? Like I've heard nightmare stories. No, nightmare stories where they're like, hey, do it again. Like, and some people they get like some artists, they'll shut down. Like they get intimidated. So. You know what I mean?
No, not this studio.
Nah.
Not with our projects. No.
Yeah, because Sebi's super chill and he knows exactly what I want. Once we've talked about it and he and I have worked together first, then, there's no problem with him directing, the guys or whatever, recording them.
One of Sevy's really good talents too is he speaks Shelly.
Yeah.
So he has to like draw out all the stuff that's in her head that she's trying to get out, and he's like pulling it out of her.
Yeah, it's hard.
And then putting it on an audio canvas.
Yeah.
You know? But it's
because
an awesome
it is a puzzle. I mean, and that's exactly how I picture. I literally can visually not only hear it, but I can visually see it. So every song is a picture to me. It's a puzzle. And like once the pieces are put in there and I can start to see it, that's how it is when I hear it. Because I'll tell Sevy, I want to hear that keyboard part down on the left corner. Or I want to hear movement of it panning left and right. Or I want to hear it.
You speak in science. You speak in science.
It's weird, but I mean, he understands what I'm saying. And and we've learned that women's frequencies are different than men. We hear different frequencies. So he will be adamant that it sounds good. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. It doesn't sound good to me. I'm hearing this. I'm hearing it's too compressed, or, there's too much of this or whatever. And, so we have to find that meeting point, but he's done amazing. I think this album LMD 82 is full circle for me because I went back to orquesta where I started. And you
like that, right?
I love it.
The big band
I love
sound?
big band. I love Tejano orquesta. I love big band. I love
but
anything in the blues.
There's not. I'll tell you this. 2 Sundays ago, I went to Pepsi Peña's 50th thing.
His 50th.
Yeah, and I'd heard of them, but I had never seen them live. I'd seen La 45.
Oh gosh, them guys are so talented.
But the greatest part, not only that the music was so good, the greatest part for me was when I got up close to the stage, because I went live. Of course, I'm a Facebook Live guy.
Absolutely.
When I went up stage, they were young dudes playing old school Tejano orchestra style music. The style, the way they carried themselves, the horns, like just it gave me chills. But the great part about it was that they were young,
right?
People, they're not like old dudes sitting up there like, hey, I've been doing this for 50 years. You know what I mean?
Right.
These dudes were like in their young 20s. You know what I mean?
Yep.
They brought a bass player who was like the best bass player in jazz for the state of Texas. He was like the state champion, if there could be a state champion in jazz, from Seguin, Texas.
They're good musicians.
And they brought him up there, and they were like, hey, this is the first time. And I forgot the guy's name, the main guy's name.
Mike Torres.
Mike Torres, yeah. He's like, hey, I'm taking my bass off, and I'm not going to play the bass. This is the first time he's ever played with us. Yeah. And he got to stand up there, and he played in front of, and that was cool. To me, I was just like, it was pretty cool. And then in front of, it was a big crowd. It was a nice crowd. And it was an older crowd. And I didn't get to really hit too much of that with you like I wanted to, but I'll ask you, you're adamant about being on social media, which is great. But I think a lot of older artists, they haven't grasped that yet. And internet radio, podcast, like these are all new forms.
Yeah, they don't know it. Yeah. I mean, I personally put up Ruben Ramos's a couple of his CDs for him to be able to be downloaded. I would do that for him because he didn't know the process, And in talking with Ram recently on his, he's starting to get it. He's getting more on social media and stuff like that. And even Jay, he doesn't like to really mess with social media too much, but he'll get on the video now and do stuff.
Yeah. I was laughing because on TikTok he doesn't have his username on TikTok.
So it's just user?
It's like user ID 4767.
Okay, ay, necio.
He just took whatever they assigned.
Whatever they gave him, they did it. So
I'm like, you're so necio. Well, when I posted my Shelly Studio Jam session, kind of, but not really, that I haven't done in a while, but I started that, and we hung out at his house. It was the 4 of us, and I was like, I want you to do my jam session with me. And he's like, okay, what is it? And I was like, we're going to go on social media and we're just going to sing a cappella, you know? He's like, okay, so we're going to do No Volveré, of course. And so he's like, okay, well, hold on. So like he walks to the other room, comes back with his sunglasses on and the microphone. And I'm like, dude, we're not going to use the mic. It's just a cappella. It's like, you know, you're singing to the camera. He's like he really wanted, I was like, just use the mic. Just go ahead. Use the mic.
It's not connected to anything.
No, it was, but it had like a crap load of reverb, and I was like, "Che, ay Diosito!" But you know, we've got so many views on that. When I posted,
I remember. Yeah.
I posted it on my.
You're doing that a lot.
Yeah,
people like.
Oh, they
Shelly,
love it.
people love what you guys just did. Like, singing like that.
Absolutely.
I get so many people like, dude, I love when you get them to sing or play a jam because. It goes to showing, you know, like you were talking about, are they studio artists?
Yeah.
Or are they, you know, they're on the spot now.
Oh, yeah.
We
don't have no
can they really
sing?
Live.
Yeah, we don't. Let's do Sal Si Puedes, though, before we do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Hoy quiero gozar, quiero vivir en Sal Si Puedes, tierra de ilusión, donde el amor nunca se muere. Ven y verás de corazón al sal si puedes. Y tú cantarás con un amor a tus quereres. Eres muy rico, sal si puedes, no te olvidaré. En tu recinto muchas veces con ella soñé. Eres muy rico, sal si puedes, no te olvidaré. En tu recinto muchas veces con ella soñé. Tierra de amor, sal si puedes, por ti soñé. Bella mansión, sal si puedes, tierra de fe. Eres muy rico, sal si puedes, no te olvidaré. En tu recinto muchas veces con ella soñé. Eres muy rico, sal si puedes, no te olvidaré. En tu recinto muchas veces con ella soñé. Yeah, that one's easy. Just a lot of...
It's only missing about 8.
Yeah, it's only missing about 9-piece orchestra.
For the fans... She sounds exactly like she's always sounded.
And there was no guitar in that recording.
No guitar.
But you made it. You made it happen, Steve. You said something earlier, Shelly, that stuck with me the whole show. Mm-hmm. You know, that people remember you. They remember your songs in sad times, happy times. You know, and it's true. Like, we don't really realize how much music helps in our daily lives.
Yeah.
Period. Like,
absolutely.
No matter what you like. Maybe Tejano's not your thing, but still, music is a part of our everyday life, and it's a part of our roller coaster ride. Because that's what life is, a roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
And I've said it many times, like, you know, I have a song that, you know, I might be under the influence of a little bit of alcohol, and I'm at the very top of the roller coaster, and I want to hear the song. And then there might be some times when I'm just thinking of, you know, something bad in the lower parts of my life, and there's a song for that.
Yeah.
And there's a song of me trying to come out of that low part, and I'm halfway there. There's a song for that.
Right.
So, you know, as a military person, I tell this to every artist that I have here. It's an honor to do what I do now, being able to as a fan have you here talking to you, but to tell you, you know, for military people, you know, your music always reminds us of home, no matter where we're at.
We came across that when the divas, Las Tres Divas, which, you know, Elida, Stephanie, and myself, you know, we toured over there.
You did Oki,
and
I remember.
we did Guam, Japan, and Korea, and you know, it was over a month tour, and it was amazing because we were being announced as Las Tres Divas. We weren't announced as, you know, Elida, Steph, Shelly. So when we would go perform, and the soldiers would realize, that's Shelly Lares, that's Elida Reina, that's Stephanie Montiel. They didn't know that it was us. They just saw Las Tres Divas.
Right.
And then they were like, oh my God. I mean, it was a totally different story when they realized who we were individually.
Right.
And it was just so awesome to see, because we made a lot of new fans too that, you know, were not Hispanic.
Exactly.
And because... that's one thing about the show. Again, here we go to the versatility of a Tejano artist. That show, we touched on everything. You know, Tejano, conjunto, reggaeton. Steph did like pop music. I did country. So we had like this whole, Steph did Alicia Keys, and it was like, so we had a lot of, soldiers
Variety.
that were like, wow, these girls can do like everything. So it was super awesome though to see that.
Hey, but will Raza get real Raza when y'all would play a song like Raza? No matter where you're at, dude.
It doesn't matter.
You could be.
Especially when you bust out like Volver or something like that. It's like, oh man, yeah,
Dude, anywhere.
You could be.
Anywhere, Oregon. We've done it, Oregon, and they're like.
You could be a cave in Afghanistan, bro, and they play the Raza's gonna come out and let you know, like, hey.
That's who we are.
That's our
we
shit.
could
right
see
there.
that. We saw that with the soldiers, with the Tejano fans. Like, they were proud that we were there. When we were representing our genre.
And you're representing
So
Texas.
It was super awesome. And of course, the girls and I went back again individually. Steph and Ellie that went to Germany and stuff, and I went to Alaska and stuff. So, but it was really nice to see that, and for us to be able to go over there. It was so, eye-opening, and we felt so much appreciation for you guys. It was super awesome. And we got to see the difference between the bases and the posts. That's for sure. We were like, wow, we didn't realize, the Air Force was different from, you went from Air Force all fancy schmancy to Army, and it was like,
and then if you
not
went to,
that much.
If you went to Marine base, we
went to the Marine base, and it was.
No, I saw a video of you guys when you were in Okinawa.
Yeah, that was our last night, our last tour, because we went Guam, Japan, Korea, back to Japan. So we finished out the tour in Okinawa, and it was, man, to see the Japanese, just like hardcore Japanese people jamming Tejano, it was awesome. Hell
yeah.
They loved it.
Was that your longest flight you've ever been on in your life?
Yeah, I think so. The 19-hour flight. That was the longest one.
That's no joke.
And I, they were going out like every freaking night, dude. They were like going out every night or drinking in the room. And I didn't go out at all until the very last night. We went to a salsa bar right off the base. And it was like nobody was there. It was just us.
Yeah.
We had so much
Gate 2
fun,
Street.
but I was like, I am not going to be dragging this whole tour like you guys are. And I was the only one up early. I was the first one downstairs, ready to go. Everybody's all dragging, tired, hungover.
Hey, Shelly, did they like when you guys are doing that? Did you guys get to like during the day when you weren't singing? Did you get to go and meet and kind of like do have y'all do different things?
We got to do a lot of things. We had our chaperone with us. The captain. He was with us, and we got to do a lot of shopping. Like in Seoul, we went to Seoul. We shopped in Seoul, and in Guam, we got to enjoy the beach and the food. It was really nice. They did tell us not to eat food like from the vendors, on the streets. Ellie that did, she didn't care. She's like a foodie, so she was like, I'm gonna eat the food. We're like, ooh, dude, you're gonna get chorro. It's not gonna be good. But Ellie, she's a foodie. She just likes to try new food. So she was like trying everything, but we got to see and enjoy a lot of that part of the world, and to see the Koreans working in the rice fields, and it was like because we traveled by bus and we traveled by train, so we were able to see a whole lot
countryside,
of the whole countryside was just amazingly beautiful. And then boom, there's a post, and we're like in the middle of nowhere. It's insane.
And then all these guys in the same clothes
all the time. I know, but I mean when we played when I went back and I played in Alaska, I played in Clear. And, I got to see how it was underground because it gets so cold. So the tunnels to go from building to building are underground because it gets, below zero over there. Yeah, it was Clear, Alaska. It was Clear in the middle of nowhere.
Did you go when it was like daytime all the time?
Yeah,
I think it was winter time, right?
I think it was we went during the winter time, so it was pretty cold.
It's one part of the year.
We got to see the ice fishing. Yeah, he wasn't with us yet. He didn't tour with us, but we got to see ice fishing and stuff. It was pretty cool. I've always wanted to ice fish myself. I haven't yet, but we got to watch it and see people doing it. It was really cool. That in all of my career, I think is probably my favorite. Was touring with the girls. That was my favorite because we went somewhere
and
together.
the fact that people rocked you guys and not knowing,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
I mean, it was, and we didn't think the Divas were gonna like do as well as we did. You know, we really, David Chavez wanted to for us to perform together for the convention. That's how the Divas came to be. And then, you know, we recorded the album, not really putting so much time and focus on what we were going to do. We just like, let's do it, y'all. Let's do a few songs together and let's do songs on our own and just sing backups. And then when we did the convention and then like Gibson Guitar got wind that we were performing, they sponsored the tour. And that's when they're like, we want you to go to Guam and Japan. We're like, what? And we're like, okay. So we had to throw a Divas band together.
There's no Tejanos in Guam.
Yeah, we threw the Divas band together, literally. Like we had some auditions, but you know, this is like some big shoes. You gotta be a hell of a musician to play in the Divas band. You know, it's like
it was a USO tour, right?
It was the it wasn't USO. It was the other one. Oh Lord, my mind just went blank. But it's kind of like the USO, but
MCCS?
it's no. Can't think of it right now. But it's something like the USO tour.
I got you.
But it was really nice, and then of course when we got the Grammy nomination, most people did not even realize that we weren't in the Tejano category. We were in the Best Mexican American category, which is huge.
Regional Mexican.
Because it wasn't regional. No, it's bigger than regional Mexican.
But I'm saying it's all of it. Yeah. It's all of it combined.
Well, there's regional Mexican. There's Tejano. There's Mexican American. There's so many. But this was for the domestic. This was for the regular Grammys. It wasn't the Latin Grammys. When we first got our first nomination, right. We were in the domestic Grammys. And it was for Best Mexican American. So we were alongside nominated Luis Miguel, Maná. Those were the people we were up against in that category as the Divas. And most people don't know that. And I mean, that was a huge feat. So we know it's possible for Tejano artists to be alongside artists like that because we deserve to be along artists like that. We deserve that. I mean, we're just as talented, in my opinion, as those international artists, you know?
No, you're right.
But that'll always be one of my favorite things. People ask me about that, and that'll always be something special for me. It would have been awesome to perform with the girls again, you know, before my retirement. But, you know, that's all remains to be seen. If it happens, it does. If it doesn't, then I still have my memories. Before
I let you go, I got two more things for you. Are you gonna plan like your last concert? Is it gonna be very well thought out? Very like
more than likely it will be. I know in Vegas we're talking about doing a DVD and, you know, a bigger performance for me next year with some of my friends. So
that'd be cool.
And I've collaborated with everyone, so that's going to be kind of hard. But that's something that David Chavez and I, you know, we still need to talk about after this year is over with. You know, we're going to figure out what to do for that, but that'll probably be one of the biggest shows is in Vegas.
And my last question for you was, if I took Shelly Lares and I took her into a room with kids from the age of 15 till about 25 years old,
mm-hmm.
what would be, if I just said, Shelly, you give them any message you want, what would it be?
I would have to say, always be true to who you are, no matter what. Always do things with good intentions, from a good place in your heart, and never stop growing. Because I don't care how old you are, you never stop growing. You should never stop growing.
You said that more than once in the show. Like
yeah, there's always room for that.
Always room for growth. Always room to
for
learn.
Growth. Yeah, absolutely. And again, say what you mean and mean what you say.
There you go.
That's
you
need
to put that on a hat.
I do. I got many. I got nombre shut up. I got well, that one I ripped off from my mom. She's the one that says that.
Man. I think that's everybody. Nombre shut up.
Nombre shut up.
Just don't say go Spurs go.
Oh,
did you see that gag?
Oh, I know. Even though I love my Spurs,
So before I let you get out of here, you wanna acapella another one?
Yeah, let's do another one. I don't know if anybody. Want to say hi to everybody in Oklahoma.
Let's see.
Hey,
Oklahoma.
And Daryl's saying that he saw us in Guam.
You see?
Nice.
Was that say? Let me see. Let me see what Daryl that is.
What's this about Department of Defense?
Lord.
I think if it's Daryl, the Daryl that I think about, he's a Navy guy. Yeah, he probably did see you
Yeah, maybe so.
in Guam.
Yeah. Yeah, Hey Boy was one of the good Diva songs.
Yeah, Daryl Mercer. He
Yeah.
did.
Is that who that is?
Yeah. He's a retired sailor. Yep.
Ooh, I haven't done Trato y Trato in a while. Wait, I don't even remember that one too well.
Which one?
Trato y Trato.
Oh, jeez, no.
Yeah.
Last time
Yeah, we haven't done that one. It's been a minute.
Skip.
It's been a
at
minute.
least a couple of years.
Yeah, it's been a minute. And people think, we do like every single song we recorded. Sometimes we don't ever do them all. Yeah, there's no way. There's no way. Well, Bumper, I don't know if you have a request or for a certain song.
No. I never do.
Let's do Mil Besos. I like Mil Besos.
I was about to tell you,
Yeah.
what is your...
Mil Besos is my favorite.
Yeah.
Hands down.
So you are an artist that does have a this is my favorite
hands
song.
down favorite song. And I redid it on my LMD 82 album, but I did it in a bolero, which is the original way it was recorded in 1954. We did, the ranchera version, which everybody loves. Those trumpets kick in, and everybody just grito, people start dancing. But I wanted to redo it for my dad because that was his favorite song. So I redid it on there. Okay, so.
Start from the verse.
Yeah. Okay. He encontrado en tu amor la fe perdida. Ahora tiene mi vida una razón. No sé si fue el embrujo de tus ojos que le dijo a tus labios robarle el corazón. Yo sé que en los 1000 besos que te he dado en la boca se me fue el corazón. Y dicen que es pecado querer como te quiero. Quizás tenga razón, pero ¿qué ha de importarme todo lo que me digan si no te de olvidar? Y si es pecado amarte, yo he de seguir pecando porque lo he de ocultar. Te he de seguir amando, te he de seguir besando, aunque me vuelvas loca, hasta que me devuelvas el corazón que en besos yo te dejé en la boca. I like that one. Yay!
Dude.
Don't cry, Bumper.
No, it's the fact that honestly, Shelly, before we say our goodbyes, like the fact that I have a legendary artist as yourself sitting next to me and giving me 2 hours of your time that you could be doing you just gave us a little snippet of what you do every single day.
You.
That you could come, and sit down and talk just about anything, I personally, Wacky Wednesday, Bumper Gomez, I want to thank you for one, being so personable, being so, like we literally have never carried a conversation besides some, a few texts, and she's like, let's do it. And I didn't tell you the story before we get up. I tell you the story. So I did the show and I got a text and it was a 210 number, right? So I look and I read it, and then I was like, I put my phone down. My wife's like, "What's wrong?" I said, does this say what I think it says? Yeah. And she's like, she looks at me, she's like, "That's Shelly Lares." I said, boom, text you back. You're like, "Yeah, let's do it." And I was like, dude, literally, I'm not lying. I was just like in such joy. Like for me, you're the epitome of a Tejano musician. You're one of the biggest pillars. You know what I mean? And just the fact that you were, you texted me and said, yeah, I'd love to do your show. Just let me, I really sat down and I was like, man, you know what? This show's come a long way.
Yeah, well, you're doing well. And, I'm honored to be part of it. And we're honored to be on here with something. And again, much respect to you, not only as a Marine, but as someone that's taking their passion and sharing it with people.
Yeah.
Again, you've dabbed into another gift, and that is using your passion to share with other people with their passion. So, and
Wacky Wednesday, the word wacky throws people off, but I'm going to tell you how wacky it is, right?
Let's see.
I got Shelly Lares right now in the studio, and my guests are from all walks of life. If you ever want to be on the show, hit me up. If you got a story, like I just love to share people's story. Next week, we're going from Shelly Lares. We're going to my buddy Deacon Carl from St. Paul.
Yeah, St. Paul.
There you go, St. Paul Rose. Deacon Carl, my deacon from my Catholic church. He's gonna be my guest here.
Awesome.
And we're gonna be able to talk about anything and everything.
Yeah.
And I just want to make it like it's just chill. Like, don't think this is gonna be like a Bible thumping. It's just I want people to know that these are everyday people.
Yeah, we're just like everybody else, just like everyone else. And
that's what I love about the show is like I really get to show people that you guys are normal people. You have your own problems. I mean, Shelly Lares, if you're tuning in to Bumper because you know me from the military or whatever, and I guarantee you've already Googled who Shelly Lares is, right? She's a legend. Like literally, she's a legend. I know for probably her to hear, she's like, she is a legend. You know what I mean? And the music that I grew up and that I love listening to, and I want to tell you that I wish you nothing but the best, because even though you're leaving the music industry better than the way you found it, for sure, you're going to continue to help people every day, because your music helps people and the roller coaster ride, as we talked about.
Right.
But you're just closing that chapter. You're opening up a next chapter, and you're going to continue to help people in the medical field.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited about that. Thank you.
I'm for real. Like, I'm sure you're gonna have 100 interviews between now and you call it quits, and they're all gonna tell you we wish you nothing but the best. But as a fan, and I'm sure all the fans that are watching and all the fans that will continue to watch or to watch later when it's on YouTube, that we wish, like, it's awesome that you're just gonna continue to help people, dude. Because
I'm super excited.
That's
about
badass.
I really am. And hospice is not for everyone, but I know, I'm spiritually, emotionally, mentally strong to do this, and I really want to. I know what it's like, losing my father, so I've, been on both sides of it, so I understand. But one of the other reasons why I wanted fans to know is why I chose to retire now is because I wanted to do it on my own terms. I didn't want to be pushed out of the industry. I wanted to do it in my prime, and I wanted to have the opportunity to say thank you myself, and for fans to tell me thank you, because unfortunately people wait to show appreciation when someone is not here anymore. And that's when everybody wants the music. That's when everybody wants to appreciate that artist, and they're not here to hear it, so I wanted to be here to hear it. And I wanted fans to hear it from me, to say thank you, because just like my music has gotten people through things, fans have gotten me through things, just being supportive. And I've been so thankful for every single individual I've encountered in almost 40 years. And there's a lot, thousands and thousands of people and thousands of shows that I've done in 40 years. It's a lot. But, thank you to you for opening up your home to Steve and I. And, thanks to my brother Steve for coming out here and jamming with me. And thanks to the fans. I love Tejano music, and like I said, I'm not leaving because I feel Tejano's dead or, nothing to that effect. Nothing to that effect at all. I believe in it. I believe it's still just waking up again, and we're super excited. What does it say? Oh yeah, Tejano ain't dead, baby. That's my boy Rick, my brother Rick.
Valderrama, yeah. I say, he says that, and I say, my job as Bumper from Bumper's Wacky Wednesday is to keep our industry, Tejano music, relevant.
There you go. That's right.
Relevant, because
and that's
it's not
an everyday
dead.
thing. We got to work at it every day. So all of the artists and musicians that are out there watching, you know, be yourself, be real. That's why your show is doing so well, because, you know, it's not scripted. It's your personality. And that's really what fans appreciate the most.
Thank you so much coming from you.
So thank you for having us. And it's been fun.
You're not treating it like a job. You love it.
Yeah, you can tell.
I tell people, like, there's dudes that play golf. There's dudes that buy weapons. There's dudes that go hunting. There's dudes that buy boats, fish. This is what I do.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? That's kind of the way I look at it.
I had a lot of jobs, but this is the only one I've ever loved.
Yeah.
Being a musician.
Yeah.
Well, Shelly, we're gonna be cheering for you.
Thank you.
Just make sure that you post at least one in Scrubs. Like we want to see the
Yeah, I said there was going to be an LMD merch line of Scrubs.
Dude.
Because, you know, I take my merchandise very seriously. And you guys can go to shellylares.online. I know we're going to have some more stuff coming up. But I have a, you know, pretty good little merch line on my website. So, again, it's shellylares.online. And check out the merch we have on there. And, again, and also, my website is the only place that you can download my entire discography.
From your website.
The only place you can download my entire, every CD I've done from Tu Solo Tu to now. That's the only place you can get it. I mean, you can get a few on iTunes. I did that purposely.
Is that Shell Shock cap on there?
We have not this one.
See, it's not on there. Not on there.
Yeah,
I can't get one.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm gonna do some more Shell Shock stuff though, because my shirt is Shell Shocked. Actually, this is my Shell Shock Pride shirt. I think that I did last year, because I have a Pride line every year too. This was my 3rd year of my Pride line, so it does really well. It sells out fast, but maybe, I don't know. We'll see. That's my hat. But thank you, Bumper. We love you. We appreciate you, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you guys. To the fans again. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Bumper's Wacky Wednesday. You never know what you're gonna get. You never know who's gonna show up. People
they let anybody in here.
No, people hit me up.
Personally attacked.
People hit me up and they're like, "Hey, why don't you put out a calendar?
I
Who's
resemble
coming?"
that remark.
I know, right?
Put a calendar out. Who's gonna come? I said, "No,
it's an element of surprise."
I give you 4 or 5 days.
That's
tops.
it.
That's it.
That's it, man.
Push it. I've been doing that for a year, more than a year. It's been working, so we're gonna continue to do that. Thank you guys for tuning in. If it's the first time tuning in on Shelly's behalf from her site, thank you so much. If you're tuning in from Tejano Nation, shout out to Romeo and Tejano Nation out there. If you're tuning in on his behalf, welcome. Every single Wednesday, I'll be right here in this spot, 7:30 Central Time. You'll be able to find us. So, to the fans, if you see Shelly coming to a town near you, we have to do our part.
Yes.
Right? We talk the talk, but we also got to walk the walk.
Absolutely.
So if it says $25, if it says $30, $20, $15, pay it.
Yeah.
Right? Pay it and show your support. That's how these guys eat.
That's our living.
That's how you make a living.
Yeah.
So
Just pay up.
Yeah.
see, thank you for coming out and hanging out as well, man. You beautiful guitar player there, man.
Oh, you didn't even hear the best part. I mean, he can jam.
He
Steve
can jam.
Yeah.
I see that guitar. So that's not a.
He's an Iron Maiden fan, so you know. Yeah.
Why are all?
We were gonna do.
Never mind. That's a whole nother. We're gonna go into a whole nother.
We're gonna do Run to the Hills.
We'll go into a whole
we didn't
nother
have time
thing.
for that.
And I am getting pushed out of the industry. I don't know if you guys knew that. I am getting pushed out.
Why?
Well, Shelly, you were saying earlier, you're not getting pushed out. You're going out on
Yeah.
your own terms. I am actually getting pushed out.
Why do you say that?
I'm kidding. It's a joke.
I was gonna say.
I was like, why would he be? I'm like, he's still gonna play with Texas Latino.
No, but thank you guys so much.
Dang, man, tough room.
I know.
You guys have a wonderful, wonderful week. And before I go, I want to do a special thing for my buddy Adrian Acevedo from Ace Productions. let's keep praying for him. He's been under the weather the last few days.
Prayers,
so
man.
prayers to Adrian, and I hope you get well soon here, buddy. And again, if you see Shell on the road, go see her. Pay the money. Get your merchandise.
Yeah, ShellyLares.online.
Get a picture.
Shelly Lares. Shelly Lares.
.online.
.online.com.
No, ShellyLares.online. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. www.ShellyLares.online.
That's a new one for me.
Yeah.
I thought it was just .com and org.
No. .online.
That .com is so 1990s, dude.
Yeah, you asked the wrong dude. He knows all about computer stuff, man.
Sonia, you'll be hearing from me soon. You guys, again, Shelly, thank you guys for hanging out. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful week. Bumpers Wacky Wednesday, another episode in the books. One for the books for sure. The legendary Miss Shelly Lares.
Thanks, guys.